Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's broadcast on the Elite Racing Network of the Blackmagic Media 400 from the virtual Daytona International Speedway, the final race of the regular season for the JoinAPS.com Cup Series here in Elite. I'm Zach Evans. I'll be joined later in the evening by Alexander Nedd here in the booth. We've got Dave Huckleberry producing tonight's broadcast. 400 miles full distance race here from Daytona to find out which drivers will be making the playoffs here in Elite Qualifying, wrapping up at the moment. We'll take a quick look here as the points as they are now. Scott Crump leading the points. Many drivers have already punched their tickets to the playoffs. We'll be finding out the rest of that playoff field tonight here at Daytona, but it's going to take 400 miles to get there. Long way to go tonight, and certainly there will be plenty of twists and turns. We now look at the starting lineup for tonight's Blackmagic Designs 400. Tyler Fody on the pole. He'll be joined by his Lake Norman teammate Scott Crump on the front row. Josh Personette starting third, Jeff Green in fourth, Robert Hill fifth, Michael Hossack sixth, Garrison Hogan seventh, Chris Wright eighth, Ethan Stanley ninth, Wyatt Knadel rounding out the top 10. Chad Frankenfield rolling off 11th, Jonathan Cutlip joining him on row 6.
A little slow tonight. There it goes.
You'll have that. You'll have that.
I clicked it, but it just didn't move.
Starting 13th, Josh Adams. 14th, Trey Holmes. 15th, Andrew Rucker. 16th, Tyler Dixon. Johnny Thomas starting 17th. Gerald Campbell 18th. Justin Fortner 19th. Ryan Gable rolling off 20th. Jordan Owens will start 21st in the 21 Savage Autosport Machine. Nick Indelicado 22nd. Dustin Dewar 23rd, Seth Rawls 24th. 25th, Ryan Scholl. Joshua Clark will start 26th. Hunter Smith 27th. David Carpenter will start 28th. Fresh from his trip from Road America, no less. Just Vandermarl 29th. R.C. Enerson starting 30th. Harrison Talon 31st. Kynan Jones 32nd. Brent Jones 33rd. Michael Goodman 34th. Braxton DeWeese 35th. David Tooker will start in the 36th position. Kyle Hanshaw, 37th. Rory Collins, 38th. Mark Murphy is definitely not starting 39th. He's race control. Brandon Key starting shotgun into field in his return to Elite tonight. So we see the field rolling off pit road. They'll take the green flag this time by and get 400 miles of racing underway. A little bit of an earlier start than we normally have here in the Elite Cup Series if you're tuning in with us tonight, but obviously that is the reason why. We've got 400 miles of racing, 160 laps around this 2.5 mile oval to knock out, so a little bit earlier start than usual. Again, that front row, the Lake Norman teammates, Tyler Fody, Scott Crump. You see on our scoring pylon on the left-hand side, those drivers with the white backgrounds and the black writing for their car number, those drivers are locked in. Just focus on winning tonight. The light blue with the black font, those drivers are currently in a playoff spot. They are not locked in, however. They will be trying to maintain that position. The drivers with the blue, the darker blue black background and the white writing, they're trying to fight their way into the playoff field tonight.
Outside looking in right now.
Outside looking in. I'm sure as we get further along, we'll be able to discuss the different scenarios. A win locks you in as long as you are within the top 25 in points that have made the requisite number of starts. You can also point your way in to round out the field of 14. But for now, we're about to see the pace car turn left onto pit road. Tyler Fody leading the field to start the Blackmagic Designs 400 at Daytona. The green flag is out. We are underway. And again, you see Tyler Fody on the inside in that red and black and white, number 40. leading the field after saying fast time in qualifying, and we already have a caution.
Oh, no.
We'll have to see what happened here. That looks like Kynan Jones in the 85. We'll see.
Back of the field.
Yeah, this is about as far back as you can go. It looks like we've got Checkup ahead of them, maybe. R.C. Enerson gets a little bit into Dave Carpenter, and Kynan Jones gets a little bit into him, and then they're just piling it at this point because they're past the start-finish line. All these guys would have been in the gas, ready to go. We'll take another look from the Mark Rebelos photography replay machine and try to see exactly what happened here. Yeah, just a little bit of a stack up there right at the start of the race. And that's got to collect a lot of guys. And how frustrating that must be. You know, you're preparing for a long night of racing, and then this unfolds, and here we go. Cause of the caution from race control is a racing incident. 71 checked up, 50 checked up, 85 into the back of the 50. No further action. And that's kind of what we're seeing in the replays here. Unfortunate start for a lot of those drivers. You know, it's funny. We saw R.C. Enerson in that crash. I don't say funny because I'm laughing at him. I would never do that to R.C. But we have Matthew Weeks in the chat. He mentioned, "Wish I was racing tonight, boys, but I am flying home now from Ethan." Let's talk about Ethan Burrell. Hope these boys put on a good show. I remember R.C. was telling us in his post-race interview last week that was kind of. He was probably not going to be able to finish tonight's race, but needed to start it to maintain his playoff eligibility. And he was explaining that he was going to be starting this race from the road. He has a win. He has guaranteed he will finish in the top 25 in points, but he needed to make at least 9 starts. This is his 9th start. Definitely not the start he wanted, and certainly he was going to be doing everything he could to not impact anybody else's race when he knew he wasn't going to be able to, or at least as far as we knew last week, wouldn't be able to finish.
And I don't see him on the track right now, so I think he's done his start and he's out of here.
He's probably got to say that's enough. If he'd been able to stay clean a few laps and enjoy the show, maybe we'd see a little bit more RC tonight. But that's probably about all he cares to do if he needs to jet on over to the airport or whatever the case may be. It does say on my end he has manually disconnected, so I do believe that might be it for RC Enerson, even though that car didn't take a huge hit. But like I say, extenuating circumstances. He's probably making a beeline to an airport or something right about now.
And he did verbally check in on driver chat to confirm voice-wise that he was here.
That's important. We've definitely seen some shenanigans at times in different leagues. People trying to log in under identities that are not their own. Fortunately, not. I had one in one race one time. This is funny. This was not in Elite, but I had one time where there was like a 2-night show, a qualifying night, and then the race the next night. And a pretty good short track racer on iRacing knew he wouldn't be able to make it to the qualifying night, but he'd make it to the race night. The problem was he was racing in the real world on qualifying night. He thought, oh, I'll be slick. I'll get somebody to log in for me and qualify. But then when his name showed up on the Race Monitor app at whatever short track he was at, Race Monitor being a very common timing and scoring app at a lot of these short tracks, somebody ratted him out, and that was it. So doubled up here. We're going to try to actually get a little bit of green flag racing in this time. Working lap 4, we'll restart on lap 5. Needless to say, front row has not changed. Scott Crump, Tyler Fogarty. Matthew Weeks kind of explaining it in the chat. He could only run like 10 laps and had to catch an Uber to the airport. So it was perfect. Yeah, outside of the incident, which again wasn't his doing, I'd say that worked out about as well as RC could hope for. So safe travels to RC, and obviously congratulations to Ethan, and hope everyone who was at his who paid him a visit had a great time. again. Alex will be joining us later tonight, so I'll have a little more company in the booth, and I'm sure we might hear from Mark Murphy every once in a while throughout the evening. But as it stands right now, you're stuck with me. I apologize for that. But we'll be getting back underway very shortly here, and hopefully clicking some green flag laps, because we've got a lot of racing to do here. As you can see, 160 laps, 400 miles tonight. So we definitely don't want to spend a lot of time looking at the iRacing pace car tonight.
No, we do not.
Dave's like, I've got plans. I gotta go. I need to pack. That's another story, but that's gonna have to wait until after the race. Getting ready for the pace car to duck off here, and we'll try to get this thing underway. Rolling through the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. Obviously Daytona. The draft's so important here. You guys see these guys bunched up in these packs all night long, battling for the win here. And right now it looks like Tyler Fode, Scott Crump side by side as they head down the backstretch at speed for the first time. Didn't get this far last time.
Do we call that progress?
Absolutely, we call it progress. And Michael Hosick getting that top lane moving. Scott Crump leading the way right now as they come off turn 4. Good little run by the inside that time, but I do think Scott Crump's going to lead this lap, and he does. I was talking to Ryan Gable just very briefly before the race got underway, and he mentioned at the top it's going to be very tough to beat tonight, especially if it can get hooked up, get the push going. You're going to need somebody pushing you to really make some moves tonight. That's how it goes at these super speedways, especially with this next-gen platform on iRacing. And certainly right now it does look like the top line has a little bit of an advantage as we get this race underway. Scott Crump again, leading the charge. Fode almost got back to him at the start-finish line, but I do think Crump did lead that lap. Jeff Green in that white and red 38 behind Fode on the inside line. Chris Wright hanging out behind him. He was telling us before the race this might be one of the last times we see him in those red and yellow Canes chicken colors. I've never been to Canes, Dave. There's not one near me, I'll be honest. We saw Tyler Fode able to get up in front of in front of Scott Crump, easy for me to say, to lead that outside line. I think, like I say, it sounds like the top line is where you want to be. Tyler Fode got enough of a run to get up there. Now he's hooked up with his teammate. That's probably not great news for a lot of people behind him as we start lap 8. You know, teammates so important at these tracks like Daytona, Talladega, now Atlanta. Kind of a draft track as well. And 3 of the top 4 on that outside line right now out of Lake Norman stable. The odd man out, so to speak, Michael Hosick into 24 for Covered Bridge Racing, but now he jumps to the bottom in front of Jeff Green. And that puts the 3 Lake Norman cars nose to tail on the top, with Ethan Stanley running behind Scott Crump and your leader, Tyler Fode. The first car on that outside line that's not a Lake Norman car, Josh Adams in that number 1 Best Buy Chevrolet.
I'm hearing that Josh is a bit of an Iron Man tonight. He's probably racing against medical advice, but he said he was kind of bored recovering from his little medical issue he had last week, and he was going to run anyway.
Well, he's running hard right now, drops to the bottom there, got a little bit of a run down the backstretch, and he's hoping now Justin Fortner in that 26 will give him a push and try to get this bottom line moving. Oh, Jeff Green had to duck onto the apron there. Not sure if he got a little loose on corner exit or had to avoid running into Michael Hosek, but whatever the case, he was below the yellow line just briefly before he ducked back in line. We saw that a lot in the 500 back at the start of the season in August, the Daytona 500. We get one of those Daytona 500s to start every season here in the Elite Cup Series. 2 seasons a year, an A season and a B season, and getting loose off turn 2 and turn 4, especially on that bottom lane, a real common issue. Depending on maybe you just didn't get the run you want and got an awkward bump, or the car just, especially late at a run, got a little tail happy. Something we'll definitely have to keep on throughout the night. If that is the case again, sometimes these draft packages change ever so slightly from one update to the next, and that can, usually there's an update pretty much between every time we go to one of these drafting tracks. So something we'll definitely have to keep an eye on, similarities and differences from the Daytona 500 earlier in the season. Tyler Fode still leading the way, getting pretty healthy bump there from Scott Crump as those teammates working together at the front of the field. Chris Wright, 4th in line in that red and yellow 42. Josh Adams side by side with him in the blue and yellow number 1 car. Justin Fortner behind Josh Adams on that bottom line. Is that a Carlos Acosta I see?
It's the smell of Peruvian food and a man who is a little too bored that has decided to look upon the broadcast and see my dear friend Zach Evans by himself, temporarily, of course. So I figured, why not hop on in, help commentate on the last regular season race of the JoinAPS.com Cup Series, Black Magic Designs 400.
Well, it's good that I'll get to hang out with you tonight. I won't be able to hang out with you tomorrow night over in Osaka, so this works. I'll get a little Carlos time in before the week is over. Obviously, Alexander Nedd joining us later in the evening, but until then, welcome to the booth, Carlos.
Well, it's good to be here. I was able to help out on Monday, and I see the booth has obviously had a better spread on Wednesdays. I don't know what catering you guys do here on Wednesdays, but can we have some of that on Mondays when I commentate and produce on the few times I do? But yeah, single file for the first 4 drivers kind of on the outside line, and then we're starting to get that double file towards 4th and back from there. But it looks like I've seen the outside trains happening in these cars when they first came out. It's been a while, but it looks like these guys at the outside line having the advantage. We may see that outside train coming in.
Yeah, that's definitely been the case so far. The outside line seems to be the preferred line, and now especially that we have those 3 teammates leading the outside line, they've definitely been able to flex their muscle here in the first 15 laps or so of this 400-mile event at Daytona. And I mean, you can see right from this angle just how hard Scott Crump is pushing Tyler Fode down the super stretch.
Yeah, pushed him a little, almost too hard. He had to. There was a little bit of a checkup when they finally got disconnected. That actually broke up the outside line a little bit as the 4th place driver, Joshua Adams, is diving into the inside. As that inside line is getting some momentum now.
You can see when he got the run and pulled inside, he even side drafted Ethan Stanley as much as he could, trying to build up as much momentum as he could before he ducked down in front of Justin Fortner. But right now that push from behind just doesn't seem to be there for the bottom line. Joshua's gotten that run a time or two and then he jumps down, but it just isn't really going anywhere. Now, let's see, it looked like Chris Wright maybe thought about it. Dustin Dewar was even thinking about going with him, but ultimately the stick to the outside.
Yeah, it seems like when that
way up against the wall there, I'm not sure what happened exactly, but we stay green.
Yeah, I didn't quite get a chance to see what happened there. It seemed like when the initial disruption occurred, it did help the inside line, but I don't know if it's whether a lack of commitment or a lack of cars or a combination of the two, that inside line is already starting to lose whatever little steam it had. And Joshua Adams is going to be going from fourth place on the outside line to possibly dipping back a couple more spots, but being the leader of the inside line.
And look, this early in the race, you kind of, if you're a guy like Josh Adams right now, you're going to try some of that stuff because you have plenty of time. You don't want to give up a ton of track position, but you can afford to lose 3 or 4 spots, just trying stuff to figure out what you need to do to put yourself in position at the end of the race.
Yeah, I agree. Of course, lap 16, we've been racing. I actually missed. I turned on the broadcast around halfway point of the caution, the last caution. So I actually don't know what happened in the first 10 or so laps. So been going for about 20 minutes at this point. You need to start testing out. It's a full-length race for the second Daytona race in a NASCAR season, and it's a full-length race, 400 miles. You want to experiment early, get all the knowledge you can. You want to go to hit the books, pay attention in class, and not throw spitballs at the teacher when they're not looking. Get as much information as you can so you can be there at the end.
I don't know. Mark Murphy's a teacher. I'm fine if people throw spitballs at him, but that's neither here nor there.
You ever throw spitballs at a teacher?
I personally have not. No. But
I haven't either.
I was a little bit of a square in when I was in school. I'm not going to lie.
I always saw it in TVs, in TV shows and everything. I never once in real life ever saw somebody like a spitball from a straw in person. I've never seen it. We did have like little tacos. I don't know if you had those over there or if they called them differently, where you rolled up like thin sheets of paper into like a little like V shape with a rubber band. You pulled back and you shot it. We called them tacos. I got in trouble once because I, for some reason, actually hit one of the students in the head, and he wasn't going to say anything, but the whole class got in trouble for those hijinks. And because the kid had a mark on his forehead, the principal eventually got him to rat me out, and I got in trouble for that.
That's a tough deal. That's a tough deal.
Yeah, it's a tough deal.
We did see Josh Adams get back on that outside line in the 6th spot, ducking in behind Chris Wright and Dustin Dewar in the 42 and the 32. Justin Fortner still trying to make that bottom line work. He's got Michael Hosick, Jeff Green, Garrison Hogan, Chad Frankfield all lined up behind him on the bottom. Right now, still those 3 or 4 cars up front on the outside, leading the way. So now we're on lap 20 of 160 here. And we have a caution. We'll have to see what has caused this, the second caution of the race.
Trey Holmes, I think. That's somebody whose name is showing up. Oh yeah, we got one car that's back up against the wall. I think that's Jordan Owens in the number 12 machine.
Let's jump into the Rebelos replay machine and see what we can find out.
Thank you, Dave. Take a look.
So it looks like these guys had fallen off.
Oh.
Wow, that's bizarre. So these guys, it looks like, had fallen off of the pack, and then the 12. I'm not sure if
it's that. Okay, so it's that iRacing glitch that's been happening lately, more this year, where it's a bug, and all of a sudden, the car in front gets a massive push, and the car behind gets a jolt. Actually. Well, yeah, it definitely does look like it would be a netcode incident. Not as big of a jolt as I've seen in Twitter.com sometimes, but that does appear to be the case. Hopefully, iRacing can get that fixed sometime soon. But yeah, it's random, unpredictable, and there's literally nothing you can do about that.
Jordan Owens involved in that. 28 of Joshua Clark is right there. So Owens is the one that just kind of slowed down right in front of Joshua Clark, and then you see Trey Holmes in the 88 gets a piece of it. I believe that was the 62 of Rory Collins in the white and yellow car. I believe Brent Jones might have gotten some of that as well in the 51. And here's what it's going to look like from Jordan's point of view. Yeah, and all of a sudden the RPMs just drop by like 400 or 500 for, whatever reason. And of course, when that happens, middle of the corner, Josh Clark, I keep wanting to call him Josh Adams.
8,200, 8,100. But you know what you're seeing around this time at the track, it hits an invisible barrier and it just immediately starts dropping. The car jerks forward. If you were inside that car in real life, you would probably have a concussion, how hard you hit that. And yeah, unfortunately, nothing anybody could do. This is a deal that, for the time being, is out of our hands. I was seeing Kyle Hanshaw, Nick Delicado, Campbell, Rawls, Carpenter, Dixon, Personette, Robert Hill, Hogan, Vander Morel. A lot of drivers going down pit road. See Brent Jones, Goody, Josh Clark. A lot of drivers, but that being said, a lot of drivers also decided to stay out. Actually, never mind.
I was about to say,
Chad and Harrison.
Yeah, my telemetry is wrong. I apologize. My telemetry is wrong. It's a bit upset because I didn't open it when the race began. But I am seeing Frankenfield and Harrison Taylor that did not go down pit road. Is that correct?
Yes, that is also what I'm seeing. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know what the fuel window is necessarily, but I'm kind of curious here what the move might be, because if you get too much of a green flag run, you're hoping for a quick caution. And even then, I'm not sure how much it helps you, because then you're just going to have to pit when a lot of guys will stay out. I don't know. This is a curious one for me. I understand wanting to get at track position, getting up front, but if you get a long green flag run here, you're going to have literally one person you can draft with to when you get out of the pits, and it's
not enough.
No, it's far
nowhere
from,
close to being enough.
It's very deep in the not enough territory. I'm just very curious what the game plan is here.
Yeah. By the way, producer Dave, am I sounding okay? Is there anything you need on my end?
Nope.
And I kind of jumped in there without any conversation. Sounds good to go. I figured it would be okay in this time if I jump on in unannounced, since Zach was kind of going at it without any help. But hopefully,
we don't lock the door. You're okay.
Yeah. Hopefully, you guys didn't change the passcode or anything. Hopefully, I'll be coming. Somebody will be replacing me here soon enough. That way, Zach and the original commentator. Who I'm sorry, I didn't get the name. Who was it?
Alex Nedd should be here around 8:30.
Alex, yeah. Hopefully, Alex comes in, and then you guys can have your regular join APS.com Cup Series broadcast here. But it's a pleasure to be here. I see you guys also changed the seats aside from having a delicious spread. So I think I got to put that in my contracts negotiation whenever I talk to Chad about possibly helping out to have that for when I broadcast.
Look, we only have the best for the Join APS.com Cup Series. Matthew Weeks chiming in the YouTube chat saying he believes the fuel window is about 43 laps, which based on my experience, as terrible as it may be, that sounds about right, honestly. So I think that's probably about right, which means if this green flag run goes much more, and they would have picked up a couple laps from the couple of cautions we've had so far, but I feel like if this goes much more than 20 or 25 laps, that's going to be a curious situation for Chad Frankenfield, especially since it looks like Harry may have abandoned ship on the strategy. Yes, he came down pit road a lap later. He's restarting 29th. So it's
interesting.
Chad jump.
Huge. As you mentioned, that is not what you want to see in this scenario. He's going to have already right off the bat no help, and he's going to have a big run from the guys behind him with full tank of fuel and possibly fresh rubber. 42 is going to dip out on the outside. Right is to Chris. Oh, wow. Excuse me. Try that again. Oh, his name is also Chris. Yeah, Chris right to the outside of Chad Frankenfield. As I butchered whatever I was going to try to say. He's got some help from number 90 of Scott Crump. They're battling on the outside. Right behind them is a 92 of Ethan Stanley.
Ethan Stanley behind Chris Wright, but not that Chris Wright. I think that's probably what threw you off. There is the Chris Wright that races in NASCAR. This one spells his name differently. This one's Chris. We hear from him during the week on the Elite Racing Network, but tonight he's behind the wheel and trying to get up to the lead here on the outside in the number 42 with Scott Crump, Ethan Stanley behind him. You got Tyler Fode pushing Chad Frankenfield on the bottom.
Has to be careful. I don't know if you caught that, but Tyler Fode gave Chad Frankenfield a little too hard of a push there going into 1 and 2, and looks like Chad had to quickly finagle his car back in position. Thankfully, no harm, no foul for any of these drivers, as whatever Fode's doing, it's working, because he is pushing the lights out of Chad Frankenfield right now. As Frankenfield's going to hold on and lead the first lap of the restart. Fode's looking on the outside now.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have wanted to be on the top all night long. Only a matter of time. Fode pushed just long enough to get in front of Chris Wright, and now he's going to try to lead this outside line past Chad Frankenfield. So far, they've done that. Tyler Fode's going to lead the way off turn 2. Chris Wright in second, and look from this camera angle how much faster that outside line gets rolling off turn 2.
Yeah, that outside line has a huge advantage tonight. It is a lot of the times the outside line, a lot of people don't like doing it, but if you hold that outside line, especially with teammates, you're pretty much unstoppable in nearly all forms of super speedway play racing. It's very strong. It's just people don't have the confidence, or they don't have the trust in others behind them to not dip down to the inside, because if you can control it, you're pretty much going to control the race. As in here, it's overtly exaggerated how strong that outside line is. We need to nerf this, because nobody on the inside either has the strength or the trust to stay committed down there to possibly form anything. I got an aerial view on my personal look right now, and there's like 6 to 7 more cars on the outside than there are on the inside. And on the outside, a lot of these drivers are closer together than the ones on the inside, so they just can't make anything work, as Chad Frankenfield is dipping down to about 7th or 8th in line compared to the outside.
It's funny you mentioned that trust factor, because one of the things for me, admittedly, I don't do much racing in the next gen car, but at a lot of these draft tracks, I personally like being on the bottom, and it has nothing to do with who I'm racing against, or even, being uncomfortable running against the wall or not trusting people underneath me. But if something goes wrong, right, and we know how frequent the big one is at these super speedways, if I'm on the bottom, I can find the apron. I can find a way. If you're up against the top, the wreck's just got to come up the hill into you and slam you into the wall. And so I hate being on the top for that reason, but I'd probably have to swallow my pride on a night like tonight, because you can see just how strong that line is.
Nick and Delicato has jumped ship from the outside to lead the inside line, as about half a lap ago on the backstretch he cut down. As I believe I'm seeing, we do have some lap traffic there approaching. I believe that might be Brent Jones. No, that is not Brent Jones. I apologize. It's another lap down vehicle who's even further back.
I believe that might be Trey Holmes, based on what I'm seeing on my end. He is going into turn 3 right about now, and as he leaders on the backstretch. So they'll be undoubtedly communicating with each other in the chat. He'll be figuring out, do they want him to stay on the bottom? Do they want him up top? And he'll do his best to hold a steady line and let these guys by. Now, one thing to keep in mind, actually, I realize I didn't double check this before the race, but typically speaking, we do have the rule in Elite at the super speedways that if you fall more than 6 laps down, you will be asked to park, basically for situations like this, to avoid too many. Oh, and now we
race around.
The big one. Braxton DeWeese, I covered him winning on Monday. Not going to be winning tonight, it looks like. That's some heavy damage to his machine, as he looks to be crabbing it. Was this because of the lap vehicle, or was this some... I would not blame that. I'm not going to blame that one on the lap vehicle, but I don't make that call. As, some net code there, and it's actually questionable if there even would have been contact if there was a net code there with the 38 and the 13. taking a look at the replay. A little checkup on the outside line. I really don't think it was because of the 88. I think there was a little bit of just natural checkup on the outside line. 13 went to the inside. 38 thought about it, backed off, and it looked like they made contact there, some imaginary contact. So the 25 makes some contact as some good avoidance by the 22. 19. Gonna see who else was possibly involved.
So the 13, Braxton DeWeese, 38, Jeff Green, 25, Seth Rawls, the ones we definitely saw involved in that incident. We'll get another look at the replay. I believe, so this is from Ryan Gable's perspective in the 01. And he's got to have a front row seat for this one for sure, because right here's got to be the incident. Seth Rawls and Ryan Gable is got a piece of it.
Yeah, you can't do anything about that.
He might have gotten away with that. So I don't know that that's serious bodywork damage, but especially when you take a hit on the nose like that, it's very easy to damage the engine of the car. So that could either be a glancing blow or a race-altering incident for Ryan, and it's really hard to say.
A lot of drivers going down pit road.
What the case is.
Frankenfield is leading a bunch of drivers, including Rucker, Green, Gavel, Hogan, Cutlip, Rawls, Dixon. I would say 10 drivers, from what I'm seeing, all have decided to stay out. And it's your current top 10 on your ticker right there. Everybody 11th and back is in pit road.
That's probably about the best case scenario for Chad's alternate strategy here. He didn't. He got enough laps that it drew a lot of guys down pit road that were further back and were willing to give up the track position they had. Naturally, some of the front runners stayed out. They didn't feel the need to pit already. But Chad will lose some of those spots, but he doesn't fall all the way back to 30-something, right? So I feel like that's about as well as that could have played out. He got himself a little bit better track position than what he had. The strategy pays off a little bit for him.
Yeah, it's a fantastic scenario for Chad. And, he held his own there on the inside, dropped back a bit, but eventually that inside line was starting to show form and shape on the inside and be able to kind of move up just a little bit. Question would be how far, would that have, how far up would they have been had the caution not come out? And the other question is, how far am I allowed to sit in this chair?
So it looks like...
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
We got Alex.
Awesome. My apologies for being late. Have I missed anything good?
Well, we're working our third caution of the evening. Right now, Tyler Fody leading the way. We just had several cars involved in it, and off of turn 2. We had a wreck on the first lap, so that was exciting. But otherwise, we've had some pretty good. I think we went a little more than 20 laps or so before we had the second caution, and then we just had this incident here. So, yeah, there's still plenty of racing left for you, Alex.
Awesome. Lap 33 of 160, I see.
I kept your chair warm. You're welcome to go ahead and take a seat down in here. The spread is fantastic, as always. I'm a little jealous of the spread compared to what we had on Monday. But, well,
what happened on Monday?
Oh, the spread. Oh, we just had like the little saltine crackers with just peanut butter and jelly. I asked for cream cheese, but they said that's reserved for Tuesdays.
Oh, I'm allergic to peanut butter, so I wouldn't have been able to have any.
You would. Well, you could have just had the saltine crackers by itself, or with the jelly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, wish you guys good luck. It was a pleasure to join you, Zach, and producer Dave. Hopefully next time, we do it in a more planned environment. But Alex is here to take over and help you guys the rest of the way.
Thanks, Carlos.
Thank you very much, Carlos.
Bye, everybody. All you race fans, you have a fantastic night.
All right. It's supposed to be an important one. It's a big one. We find out who's going to be racing for a championship at the end of 400 miles here at Daytona. last race of the playoffs, Tony or Tyler Foley, who won the Daytona 500, trying to do what hasn't been done since 2013, and that's win both Daytona races in a season. The last man in real life to do that was Jimmy Johnson. Pace car dives on the pit road. The field back in the hands. Tyler Foley gets him down to green. We are racing. He gets a big shove heading toward turn 1.
Once again, those Lake Norman cars 1-2 leading the charge on the outside. A couple of different names up there right now. We see Nick Indelicato in the number 10 car leading the bottom lane.
Has there been a defining lane tonight?
So far, the top has been the lane, especially with these Lake Norman guys and the Pro Edge guys, and they've really been making the top lane work, and that's been where to be so far. As I think we're trying to go 3 wide here. Yes, we got Ethan Stanley stuck in the middle here with Andrew Rucker behind him. He's got Garrison Hogan to his outside, Nick Indelicato to his inside.
Not a lot of help, but Garrison Hogan actually looked like he got a piece of the wall right there. He'll slide back. But yeah, the middle typically is no man's land at Daytona.
That lap car 27 sliding back through there? That is Tyler Dixon? Or maybe it's a 27, but it's not supposed to be the 20.
I wonder, is that supposed to be Brandon Key?
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be the 33 car.
Brandon Key making his return to Elite tonight, so apparently the number
previous
on the
Daytona winner here.
One-timers always screw up all the numbers.
Right. Probably his name didn't get changed in the roster in time. Brandon Key is good for every time he shows up to makes his return. He seems to have a different number every time, so I'm sure 20 or 33 was whatever his number was last time, and he's decided 27 this time, and next time he'll be 82 or something. I don't know, and we'll just keep trying out different numbers.
Inside line hanging tough though. Brandon Key working hard on that inside line. It's up to 4th.
Yeah, that outside line's been pretty strong tonight, but Brandon Key leading the way in that. On what we're seeing, the 27 on the scoring pylon, it is the 33.
We know these guys can make it about 40 laps of fuel, well outside of their fuel window for that final stop. But Nick Indelicato giving a good shove to the 27 car right there. They're up to the point.
And look, for a couple of these guys like Brandon Key, we're going to be talking a lot about the playoffs tonight, but, with him kind of jumping in here tonight, there's no playoff consideration. He could have led every lap and won tonight if he wanted to. He wasn't going to make the playoffs based on the other requirements, like making enough starts or earning enough points over the course of a season. So there's only one thing on his mind tonight, and that's getting that win.
Scott Crump took the low side away from his teammate there and taking the lead. You have to wonder, did that 40 car or was that 90 car getting a little hot?
That certainly could be the case. Definitely those front two have been pushing really hard over the course of the race. That's definitely a possibility on what played out there.
How do you know when your car is too hot there, Zach?
Well, It's funny with the next-gen cars in particular. It's very much like the real thing. You've got the cluster, the digital dash, that's right there in front of the, in front of the windshield, so to speak. So you're looking at your temperatures or your. Oh, we've got trouble. This is gonna be a
Clash,
huge wreck.
Tyler Foley, and Scott Crump hard into the wall. Oh. Yeah, what happened? Those were our two outside leaders. Lake Norman is hurt.
I'm surprised more cars weren't involved in this, honestly, but we'll take a look at the replay to see what happened. A little bit of contact off the corner there between
Oh,
Bodie
net code,
and then
perhaps.
Josh. Maybe. Hard to say.
Yeah,
And
but
then
man, this happens right at the front of the field. I'm like you there, Zach. I can't believe more cars were not involved.
So here's Tyler Fode. Justin Fortner's got to get just a piece, but he did really well to not really just pile into that and make it worse than it was. Michael Hossett gets around it. Andrew Rucker's going to squeeze by. Look at Wyatt Canadle getting slowed down to take the high side, and then everybody else at this point, you see some of the guys driving onto the grass to avoid it. I see Seth Rawls down there.
You have to feel for Tyler Fode because he did nothing wrong in that instance. That's just how quickly things can turn around for you. Riding on top of the 25 car.
So this is what Seth Rawls. I mean, there's the puff of smoke. Everybody's slowing down. And he makes a decision right here. I'm going to the grass. I see Tyler Fode. I'll be over here if you need me. I'm good. I'm not gonna try to thread the needle.
Nobody went through pit lane.
We do not need to reenact the scene from Days of Thunder. Yeah, you did see a couple of guys that went down pit lane. The good thing with the league race,
legal here.
Well, see, so that's the trick, right? It's a league race. If you did that in an official race, you'd be stuck with the speeding penalty because you wouldn't have an official to clear it. Typically, in a league situation like this, if you go down pit road in an evasive manner like that, you'll typically get that cleared, an understanding nod from race control, and I do see several of those black flags were cleared. Because sometimes it can even happen. I've had it happen where I got spun onto pit road. Like I was not in control of the race car, but if you if you go onto pit road through the grass, and no matter how you got there, it'll say it was an illegal pit entry, like you planned on it. So, fortunately, that's all taken care of. Those guys will be deemed to have, simply been
Gerald Campbell, right onto pit road there.
Right. And you can see Johnny got on pit road and then went ahead and slowed down, made sure he didn't cause any problems on re-entry, because obviously you don't want to shoot back onto the track here and just drive into anybody, but did the nice responsible thing there and get all sorted out.
I think only 5 cars were involved in that.
I'm telling you, when I saw Fode in front of the whole field like that, I figured we were going to wreck about 20 cars, but lots of heads-up driving there to keep that from being a lot worse than it could have been.
Hey, let's pay some bills while we got a chance here, fellas. We'll be right back.
It's all you.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Enjoy Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
All right, we're back. 1 to go here. Signal already given a quick cleanup, but just a quarter race distance in, and we've already seen some pretty big crashes there, Zach.
Yeah, we've had some incidents, but so far most of our field is still out here making laps, and a lot of the guys that were in the previous wreck, the third caution, were able to keep up with the pack. We'll see how everybody does here as we go back to green.
33 cars still on the lead lap here as the pace car dives on pit road. Green flag back in there. Nick and Delicato gets them down toward turn 1.
Nick and Delicato and Chad Frankenfield on the front row. David Tooker in that 19, the second orange car on the outside line. Dustin Dewar in the 32, and then that 27, it's showing up as the 33 on the scoring pylon again. Brandon Key making his first start of the season. A little bit of a cross of the wires, so to speak, with the data entry before the race. But that is Brandon Key showing up as 33 on the scoring pylon, running into 5th position in car number 27. So I'm sure we'll have to remind people of that throughout the evening. But he is a lead lap car battling up front. Just his number's wrong on the scoring pylon.
We saw a blink from, I believe that was the 5 of Johnson Cutler. Hopefully that will not be a further issue there. See Jeff Green almost get into the side. Chad Frankenfield really backing up that outside lane.
Yeah, right now the bottom's got, well, I say that, Ethan Stanley's got to jump up top. Jeff Green jumping in front of him. So those two guys are going to try and get a little bit of energy on that top side. But right now the top 4 on the bottom have a little bit of a gap. We'll see if that lets the guys behind them suck up and help push that bottom lane along, or if it's going to be the break the top lane needs.
I'm not seeing a lot of stability, and what I mean by that is the cars seem to be dancing. I'm not sure everybody is equally okay with the handling of their race car. You see David Tooker change lanes.
And look at Brent Jones. I mean, he was in one of our earlier incidents, but now here he is. He's up in the conversation for the top 5 in that 51 car on the bottom, right behind Michael Hossack in the 24.
Ethan Stanley, you see, pushing the 38 car. He now suddenly has no partners. Both his teammates, Tyler Fody and Scott Crump, involved in that latest caution.
And just a note on Scott Crump, he's still on pit road, so I would say probably his race is done on the 6 lap down rule, if nothing else. He's not going to be able to make it back out, I would imagine, before he loses
that lap. Yeah.
That lap. So that is probably
day done
for Scott Crump.
Which is sad, considering he had a strong car.
Oh, definitely one of the front runners in the early stages.
I believe that lap.
Again, Jeff Green leading that outside lane in the white and red 38. Ethan Stanley trying to push him along, but right now the top 5 are all on that bottom lane. A little bit of a change from what we had seen earlier in the night, but you know, that might be just, I don't know, maybe we've been reading the situation wrong. I mean, so earlier in the night it was how great the top lane was, but maybe it was just how well those Lake Norman cars were working together until that incident. Now you've got kind of some different faces and some different teams up front. The top 5 cars are all on the bottom end.
Led by the Tenna, Nick, and Del. Oh, car almost in the wall. You see some 3-wide action.
Nathan Stanley up against the wall.
Letting everybody go by. Don't know what happened there. Oh yeah, he has a problem because he's on the apron.
Yeah, something has clearly happened to Ethan Stanley here, and that's another tough break for Lake Norman if that is the case.
A little puff of smoke there.
Let's see, can we get a replay and see what happened there?
He blew an engine there.
But why?
Unless maybe he got hot? I don't know. Trying to push Jeff Green, maybe?
Everything seems okay here. He's off. But yeah, just has no speed. And when you blow an engine, is it day done here for you?
With the 6th lap down rule, I'd say pretty much, especially under Green. I mean, he's got to lose at least a lap before he ever makes it to pit road. I mean, he's just now, I'm looking at him live on my end, and he is just now getting to his pit stall. And I don't think he's lost a lap. And he has left the session, so regardless of the circumstances, he has called it a night.
That's upsetting, and as you said, another Lake Norman car out of the race. I think Tyler
spin. I believe Josh Clark has spun. He's well off the racetrack. This is probably not going to bring out caution, but I was trying to get back to on my computer to see where the leaders were.
He must have DQ'd. I think he disconnected. I don't even see him on the track.
That's bizarre. I'm looking at him.
Oop, can't find him. There, I got him.
Interesting.
It wouldn't pick him up for a second there.
So I bet you probably, if he couldn't find him, he might not be able to find the replay.
Okay.
Let's see what I can get.
Yeah, we'll see how far back into Time Machine we can go, but we may not have a replay of this one. Even with the all-seeing eyes of iRacing, sometimes things happen.
So far, it's good there.
No, we're looking all right.
We're getting there.
Oh, had some help, it looked like. Who is that behind him? Did we get a...
I'm not sure. It was one of the... I can't tell if that's Trey Holmes or was that Johnny Thomas? Everybody's got a red car tonight. That's Trey Holmes.
Trey. Trying to provide some assistance, but not the type needed for that 28 car. He likely will go a lap down, but not in danger of multiple laps.
And now we'll get back to the live action. You can see the field is singled out now with David Hooker leading, right?
Garrison Hogan, last year's Daytona 500 winner.
So getting some word with the deal with the 28 there. Apparently what happened to him was similar to what we saw with the earlier incident. I'm trying to remember who that was, but where the car just kind of stalled out in the middle of the corner. Apparently that is what happened with Josh Clark. So that's a couple of times we've seen that tonight. Seems to be something we'll have to keep an eye on tonight.
Hopefully that doesn't happen to, say, the leader while he's leading. Working lap 53 of 160. A little over 100 to go. Yeah, this front group has a calm down, David Tucker. Trying to solidify his name in the playoffs here. How about Dustin Dewar in the 4th position there?
Hey, yeah, Dusty's having a good run. I mean, it's not the do-good cars have a tendency to work really well at these super speedways, and obviously right now, speaking of those do-good cars, he's got a teammate right behind him in Jeff Green in the 38. I say right behind him. There's a little bit of a gap there, but I'm sure Jeff will suck up to him and close that gap here up over the course of the next lap. But you know, those are a couple of guys. I mean, Jeff Green, he has started on the pole in the actual Daytona 500 before, so he knows a couple of things about how to get around Daytona.
He's also found himself on his lid that 2000. At the time, it was a Busch Series wreck.
Well, you'll have that at Daytona. Yes.
He went from worst to first in the championship that year. But yeah, you will have that sudden car on your lid at Daytona. That has happened. I was there when Ryan Priest took his flyer. And oh my gosh.
Nate was in the booth tonight. I tried to do a Cape Canaveral launch off turn 4 here at Daytona in Xfinity car. That was exciting.
It's impressive.
What happened?
An iRacing thing happened. I was actually charging to the lead on the outside lane and got a. He didn't mean anything. He was trying to help, and Alex Van de Sant gave me the bump draft and just didn't quite place it right. And spun out, and while I was sliding across the apron, I got hit in the door, and iRacing decided I needed to go to space for that. So I did.
See, the top 12 cars here have given away.
Looks like they are moving up the lane to navigate around a lapped vehicle at the moment. Didn't quite catch who it was. I believe
Rucker?
that is Trey Holmes.
Might be the 88 car, yep.
Yeah, Rucker is one of the lead lap cars. He's running 8th in that white and blue 64. Trey Holmes is the lap car they were working around. Let's see, according to my data, that's probably his first lap down.
So he's in the free path position. Should we get a caution?
That is correct.
That gap between 12th and 13th just keeps getting bigger and bigger each lap.
And let me tell you, you want to talk about a terrible feeling is if you lose that lead pack like that. Right now, that second pack has a couple of the Lake Norman cars trying to work together. I say that, I think Ryan Gable must have got a little too hot because now he's dropping to the back of the line. You can kind of catch that out the side of the frame there. Now it's Tyler Fody leading that train. You can tell they're doing everything they can, trying every trick in the book to try and close that gap. But really, once this happens, it kind of just comes down to which line has the most cars in it working together the best. Which I realize I kind of contradict myself mid-sentence there, but it's so hard once you lose that front group to get it back without a caution. And you're just really hoping you can either find some magic to close that gap and work together well enough to do that, or you get a caution before, you know, green flag pit stops, and then you have that group gets even broken up more, and that's when you can really get into trouble.
Ooh. Yeah, you might be able to pull some race strategy, like a two-tire stop.
Well, we've seen a lot of that even at other tracks this season, right? Where because the tire wear isn't as significant, typically in this next-gen car on iRacing, the time you can save by just taking 2 tires, even with having to fill up a full tank, it still saves you a couple of seconds, and that can make a huge difference. Obviously, that's something a lot of guys are going to consider here. If we do have green flag pit stops, I'd imagine the vast majority will take 2 tires or no tires and try to minimize the time they spent sitting still on pit road as we're looking at this lead pack at the moment. Andrew Rucker is currently running 12th, as we see on
That's the first time we've seen Fody gain in a lap actually on Andrew Rucker. But Rucker was falling back a little.
Yeah, we'll get an update this time by from Fody, and there. Now, granted, again, like you say, Rucker was falling back in that group, so you can see the difference in his lap time was at least 3/10 even from the lap before. So that skews it a little bit, but it's safe to say Fody made up some ground there, leading that second pack that lap.
David Tucker out. He has no teammates around him. In fact, where are the rest of the Pro Edge cars? I'm trying to see on my screen here.
Unfortunately, a lot of them are literally not here.
Oh, okay.
I mean that because, as you may remember from the interviews last week, Alex,
yeah,
big celebration in the family this week.
So yeah, Ethan getting married, right?
Correct. So a lot of the guys either are traveling back from the wedding. R.C. Enerson showed up for he was going to run about 10 laps and park it. Instead, he showed up, got involved in a lap 1 incident and parked it. And pretty much the only other Pro Edge car we've got tonight, unless I'm overlooking somebody, is Josh Clark, who's currently a lap down. So it's Tucker against the world tonight for the Pro Edge camp.
He would like to bring it home for the boss there. That's an excellent wedding gift. And congratulations to my boy E-Dog sealing the deal. We love to hear that.
So looking at, well, I say that and then I briefly lose timing and scoring. I'm sure it will be back very soon. But I remember, I believe the last pit stops were around lap, or the last
40.
caution. 40? Okay, so we're probably about halfway through this fuel run here. Give or take a lap or two in either direction.
So possibly around halfway is when we'll see these cars back on pit road.
Yeah, it's gotta be shy of that, somewhere in the 85. Oh well, wait, no, this is a 400. Yeah, so right around the halfway mark. I can math. I was thinking about the 500. I was like, we won't quite make it to lap 100, but no, we don't need to make it to lap 100. We're halfway.
That's something hopefully our crew chief pays attention to.
Well, that's why I'm not on the pit box. I tried it a couple of times. I wasn't very good at it. So leave that to the professionals for sure. Looking at the lap times, that second pack has really gotten hooked up. At that time they made up about 4/10 on the back of the front pack.
And
Tyler Fody ran a 46.0. Yep, Tyler Fody ran a 46.0, and you can see Tyler Rucker with the 46.4. So they're closing in significantly. You can see the trend there between Rucker and Fody on your screen, and that's that, like I say, that's exactly what that second pack needed to do to close back in.
They're about 2.5 seconds off this pack, but Tyler Fody, last winner at Daytona, trying to get back to back after being involved in that latest caution. You're watching the Black Magic Designs 400. A little under 100 to go. Don't go anywhere. We'll have racing when we come back.
live here at Daytona, working lap 69. You see David Tooker still leading the way, but you also see there's Tyler Fody. That second pack we were talking about before the break, it has caught up to the leaders. And now you're starting to see some of this two-wide racing, some of these lap cars also mixed in. Definitely getting a little more eccentric up front. And now we see Dustin Dewar on the outside. Look, those do-good cars are hooked up. Dustin Dewar, Jeff Green leading the way at the moment. David Tooker on the bottom with Brandon Key providing the push as they're trying to work around Ryan Gable in that 01 car. 3 wide off of turn 4 there in the middle of the pack. This is getting really, really exciting all of a sudden. Look at this 2-3 wide racing again, trying to work around Ryan Gable, currently in the 30th position. You see Jonathan Cutlip in the 5 car.
Nato got into the wall a little bit there and kind of pushed right.
Yes, he did. Looks like he was able to keep it under control. Meanwhile, up front, Dustin Dewar's jumped down to the bottom in front of David Tooker.
We got a race all of a sudden.
Yeah, we just needed you to step away, and then things got really exciting. Dustin Dewar leading the way, David Tooker in second. Brandon Key, that 3rd car in the bottom lane. Jeff Green leading the outside lane with Michael Hosick behind him as we start lap 71.
This is where my Darrell Waltrip senses are tingling. The storm is brewing again, boys. Teammates leading both the inside and the outside lane. Jeff Green in that outside, Dustin Dewar on that inside lane.
Now, one thing that's also going to be really interesting to keep an eye on in all of this. All right, so if you look right now, I believe that's the 4th car on the inside lane, the 13 car, Braxton DeWeese. So he's the 1st car a lap down, but you know who the 2nd car a lap down is? The 88 of Trey Holmes right behind him. So those guys are currently fighting for the free pass right in the middle of this pack, guys fighting for the lead.
And we've seen that play a big factor into when a caution comes out. I believe it was Carson Hulsavar and Denny Hamlin at Dega just a couple of weeks ago. And Carson got it over Denny. You see them running nose to tail, Braxton Deweese and Trey Holmes.
Looks like Dave Carpenter dropping back a little bit here in the pack, but otherwise still 2 by 2 by 2 up front. And we're probably, like I say, getting close to those green flag pit stops.
Yeah, I would say 10 laps to go.
Right, so, I mean, everybody's getting everything they can before that's going to throw a whole nother shakeup in this. And, you know, talking about those lap cars, right now, as Michael Hosick, a big movement. He kept it out of the wall, fortunately, but...
that was big. What did green or under yellow at Daytona?
The 88's coming in.
So there's the 88. That's one of the lap down cars ducking down pit road, and it didn't look like he had much help. So that's going to be pretty rough for him.
Luis will inherit that lucky dog position.
Yeah, that's going to be his for now. I'm trying to keep an eye. I know I saw Josh Adams in that pack, but I'm trying to get an idea what his status is. I think I said Josh Adams. I meant Josh Clark. I did it. I spent like 5 laps avoiding it. We were looking at the replay he was in, and I finally did it there. Josh Clark is 2 laps down, so he is not in that conversation at the present moment.
Zach, you never answered my question though. What did you prefer?
At almost any track, I'd prefer having a long enough green flag run to pit under green. Here it's so stressful because it's not just about getting on and off pit road, which is always important with the green flag pit stop, but it's about pitting with people, not getting run over on pit entry, not, being able to get good enough a pit stop. Don't miss your pit stall. Get lined up with somebody on pit exit. Get going. Get on track without having a Kevin LePage situation. Green flag pit stops are so hectic here. Give me a yellow flag pit stop every time. Give me a chance to catch my breath. Give me a chance to handle all that stuff and go racing again.
Just don't be the reason why the yellow is out in the first place.
That's always the catch, right? As we're riding on board with Brent Jones in the 51.
It was a request from the chat, so I like to keep the people happy.
It's fine playing the hits. We see in front of him Ryan Schold in the 4 car, I believe. Yeah, Chad Frankenfield. Oh, there's
that's Trey Holmes trying to return back to the track. Minimize the bleeding from that green flag pit stop. Under green, and you see this package as ferocious as ever. David took her to the outside, and he'll actually take the lead with Garrison Holman behind him.
Jonathan Cutlip right now leading that outside line in his number 5 car. Can't quite, I say that, Tyler Fody, he saw something, he jumps in front of him. I believe that's Johnny Thomas behind.
Tyler Fody, man. That car was backwards last caution. Here it is leading that outside lane.
Yeah, he's been able to get back to the front of the field and flex his muscle as we're now on lap 78.
2 laps away from halfway. Are we giving a playoff point at halfway?
Don't know.
Ooh, a big
Tucker just went away
out of the 19 car.
Oh, we've got a caution.
Oh,
here we go. Goodman's
Michael
involved. Gable's
Goodman.
involved. Cadle, Josh Adams. Trey Holmes might have stopped before he got into that, but he had to come to a stop. We'll have to see what happened here. We were talking about those green flag pit stops. Forget that.
It was right on the edge of everyone's window.
So we'll roll it back after we look at the first time. But here, Andrew Rucker gets into Jeff Green, who goes up the hill in front of Gerald Campbell. But right before, we'll watch it through one time, and then we'll come back to what I wanted to point out. But here you see Andrew Rucker into Jeff Green, or excuse me, Gerald Campbell. There's where Ryan gets involved. Michael Goodman, Justin Fortner barely squeaks by. Chad Frankenfield squeaks by.
5-car jam session on the outside.
Oh, Hossack going up the hill.
And Wyatt Canado involved.
So if we can go back, I think when we were first looking at that replay, we saw a car blink near the front of the inside line, and that might have been what kind of triggered the checkup, was everybody just being unsure where that car was. But
go back to Rucker then. So
yeah, you'll have to back it up just a little bit before that. Oh no, it looks like there may have been some squirreliness up there. It was right at the front with David Tooker, I think.
We did see that blink from Tooker. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Tooker blinked right after a bump draft from Dustin Dewar where his car got a little out of shape. So naturally, now everybody's panicking if you see that combination, right? A car blinking right after you saw it wiggling. So naturally the inside line checks up a ton, and that kind of
Andrew Rucker probably doesn't see that. Yeah.
Right. He's probably just trying to move to keep from running into Jeff Green, and then just kind of ends up making contact.
Into Jeff Green.
Right. Yeah, obviously not intentional. He's trying to get away from it.
That was what he was trying not to do, but
exactly. And that's just how quickly these things can happen.
At 190 miles an hour.
And of course, he's looking in the mirror. He sees Kynan Jones. He sees 3 wide behind him.
This is right at the front of the field. I often say it. When the leaders have a problem, it becomes everyone's problem.
You were asking me if I prefer green flag or yellow flag pit stops earlier. Another philosophical debate at these super speedways is: do you want to be up front or do you want to hang out in the back to avoid a wreck? I've personally, I like trying to be as far in front of the mess as possible, but sometimes the front is the mess, and it just happens. There's not a whole lot. You can sit here and argue which side you want to be on. We saw the very first caution of the race started at about 35th position before we ever made it to turn 1, and this one started on the front row as we, 30 laps into a green flag run. There is no safe place at Daytona. You can pick whatever strategy you want. If it's not your day, it's not your day.
Exactly.
Playoff point 2, the 42 of Chris Wright, since he is
Chris Wright, halfway, yep.
I was assuming, of course, he didn't come into the pits, but I didn't think, since he was asking, that he was going to do that.
I think we'll probably get the 1 to go signal here. Perhaps. No. Oh, yep. There it is. Peace lights are out.
I can do some quick reads here.
All right, go ahead.
Our race sponsor tonight, Black Magic Designs. Black Magic Designs is a small team of custom iRacing car painters and photographers dedicated to a quality customer experience with paint starting as low as $15 per car. Find us on Facebook or Discord, Black Magic Designs, where the paint is worth 2/10. Our series sponsor, Join APS. APS offers a complete solution for all types of businesses that need process credit card related transactions. I'm having trouble reading tonight. Their industry-specific solutions provide the best options for your business model. They have experienced client service representatives who understand what your processing needs are. Premier sponsors, TA Services. For 36 years, TA Services has been a trusted domestic and international full-service third-party logistics provider, offering freight brokerage, managed transportation, warehousing and fulfillment, and cross-border logistics services to shippers around the globe. TA Services moves what matters to you. Let the TA Services team make ship happen for you. Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg is the marketing department for small businesses. Small business owners, Blue Egg is your biggest fan. And finally, Worldwide Technology Raceway. Worldwide Technology Raceway is a motorsport racing facility in Madison, Illinois, close to the Gateway Arch. It features a 1.25-mile oval that hosts NASCAR Cup and Truck Series, a 2-mile infield road course used by Speed Tour Trans Am, SCCA, and Porsche Club of America, a quarter-mile drag strip that hosts the NHRA Midwest Nationals event, and Kartplex, which is a state-of-the-art karting facility. Did I get them all done in time? I think I did.
Yes. You did well there, Dave. All right, pace car is about to make that dive onto pit road. The track is clear and the field in the hands of Chris Wright. We're back to racing. Less than 80 to go. We're halfway here in the Black Magic Design 400. Everyone trying to get their game on. Does your mindset change at halfway there?
No, for me, I want to survive until all the pit stops are out of the way, and then I'll figure out what happens after that. We're still too early for my mindset to change if I'm in a 400-mile race at Daytona. Bodie on that outside line with Dustin Dewar behind him. Now I'm curious, if Chris Wright stayed out for the playoff point there, how much longer can he stay out?
Yeah, he's looking at 43 laps. It's his last stop.
Yeah, I don't believe that 42 could stay out that much longer. How about Tyler Fody back to the point there?
Yep, definitely a strong rally for him to get back to the lead. As now he's got, I believe that's David Tooker behind him. Now Dustin Dewar on that bottom with Chris Wright offering the push, getting back to the front.
We'll keep an eye on that 42 car and see if it ducks onto pit road here soon.
He just called out over the radio. He is pitting this time, so we will see the 42 to pit road next time. Jonathan Cutlip wondering, wait, for real? He must not have gotten the memo. Chris Wright stayed out under that caution. And now he's wondering, how did I get stuck behind this?
Yeah,
How am I going to make this work?
Can you pick another lane first?
Which, fortunately, I mean, Chris Wright should be able to. I mean, he'll get off turn 4. He'll get to the apron. It shouldn't cause an issue. It'll just break up ever so slightly. Yep, just like that. He's able to get out of the way. Doesn't hold up anybody behind him. It just breaks up that chain ever so slightly. But they'll get caught. They'll stay hooked up. It's not the end of the world. It's a minor inconvenience.
Huh?
You know what's not a minor inconvenience? Pitting under green while the whole field is still driving 190 miles per hour around the track.
Hopefully that playoff point is worth it.
So back up front, you see Tyler Fody leading, Dustin Dewar still leading that bottom lane. Jonathan Cutlip right there with Dustin Dewar. Like I said, he didn't cost him much. It was just the momentary, wait, that's happening? But we got through it. We're fine.
I think personally, though, the strongest cars remain on the upside. Pro Edge Racing, David Tooker, and Lake Norman's Tyler Fody.
David Tooker's had to make some new friends for tonight at the very least. Like we mentioned, a lot of the Pro Edge cars not here tonight. But he's been able to stay up front. He's making it work right now, working with Tyler Fody at the front of the field.
You don't think Ethan passed off some of that wedding money to some other teams to take care of his boy?
I would never suggest any kind of bribes or financial compensations take place. That's pretty unscrupulous, and I would never suggest such a thing. But I know wedding registries exist because my sister had a wedding shower this weekend, so I mean, I can't rule it out either. I like dogs more than people. One of the items on my sister's wedding registry was a 35-pound plastic pet food storage tub with scoop. Very important. So I was happy to get that for her since it was on. Hey, it was on the registry. She asked for it.
That's right.
It's fair game, and it may be a sign that I like dogs more than people. But that's not the point.
I saw the most heartbreaking thing today driving home. Unfortunately, a dog was hit by a truck.
How did this turn into the art of racing in the rain? What happened?
Thank you for your feel-good story.
I honestly do not know.
This is not Marley and me. What are we doing?
Sorry. I don't know why that just came out. I felt like I needed to tell someone.
Well, I'm glad we were able to share this.
And now you have done so.
Question mark? I'm trying to even think of a segue at this point. Like, I don't even know how to get us back on track. Tyler Fody's doing a real good job in that 40 car.
I was going to say let sleeping dogs lie, but I guess it wasn't sleeping.
Oh! It was just so sad. I'm sorry. Dustin Dewar, though, getting help from Johnson Cutler. You know,
I'm still really upset at a lot of these guys that have shown up with these red and black cars tonight. You see Jonathan Cutlip second in line on the inside. Johnny Thomas. Oh no, never mind. We're right.
Oh no!
Trouble. Big crash and hard. Around goes the one and into Brandon Key.
I was mad at those guys. I wasn't that mad at Johnny Thomas. Jeez, I didn't want that to happen.
Let's see what happened here. The first car I saw sideways was the one.
Yeah, it looks like he gets sideways, clips Johnny Thomas.
He got into the wall there. And this is in the front of the field. Johnny Thomas, previous Daytona winner here.
Brandon Key gets involved in that.
I think they don't touch the inside wall. Good for them, but...
And here you see Seth Rawls, Garrison Hogan, Nick Indelicato. Michael Goodman gets another one. Brent Jones, piece of another one.
Goodman's flipping over.
Michael Goodman goes over. Does the Ryan Priest. Oh, well, let's ride on board the 44 car. This is not going to be fun.
Take your dream, I mean.
Oh. I cannot imagine one wrecking, but two flipping.
I'm only gonna give it a 6. The dismount left something to be desired for sure.
You've seen worse. You've experienced worse.
I was about to say.
Go
back and find the clip of me at Bristol. So it sounds like it may be a similar situation to what we had already seen a couple of times earlier tonight. If we go back and look at, I guess, the one car, we might be able to go on board and see what happened with him. So if this is kind of like what we saw earlier.
Yep, you can see the jump.
Same thing. The car just suddenly slows down. We've seen that a couple of times tonight. Can't really... It seems to be an issue we're really just experiencing tonight. And, I mean, what a tough break for not just Josh Adams, but everybody who got collected in that, because whatever it is causing this to happen... Yeah, I mean, it's like the guys are just hitting an invisible, block or something that's causing the parachute to come out, and that gives nobody a chance to... I mean, you can see the sparks there, and Garrison has no shot at this point, right? He cannot react immediately to that abrupt, unexpected slowdown in the middle of the backstretch. Like, it's not even the corner where you might be expecting something screwy to happen. It's the middle of the backstretch. All of a sudden, Josh Adams slows down in front of him. He has nowhere to go. He hooks Josh Adams, who gets into Johnny Thomas, and it's on from there.
At least
you can see he gets front end damage too, where he's not really even near a car.
Right, like it's not even like he bump drafts Jeff Green or anything here. There's still a little bit of space there. It's not
after
even,
you see the spark here, you'll see the front left of Josh Adams. Then all of a sudden will get damaged, but he's not near anything.
What do you say earlier there, Zach? Sometimes it's not your night.
That's a tough pill to swallow. And the worst part is, for some of these guys, I mean, Nick Indelicato, I believe, got a little bit of that. And he's one of those guys trying to make the playoffs. I mean, for a lot of these guys, you circle Daytona as a track where even if you haven't had the best season, if you're in that top 25 in points and you can get a win, you can punch your ticket tonight. And now, just a lot of guys taken out there that for something that really nobody did anything wrong.
Yeah. Who was the pole setter for tonight?
Fody, Tyler Fody.
Tyler Fody was the pole setter.
Okay. As we get the 2 to go, or 1 to go signal. They're doubled up on the back stretch.
So it looks like we're going to have 26 cars on the lead lap for this restart here, coming to lap 95.
Pace car on pit road. Tyler Fody, the pole setter, gets them back down. Barry has the green flag in hand. We're back to racing here at Daytona, and immediately all the cars swing to the outside.
Jeff Green jumping to the bottom here with the push from David Tooker and his teammate Dustin Dewar. They're going to try to get up front here.
Everybody's deciding whether they're going to go top or bottom.
I had a feeling that 38 car wasn't going to sit in tow with that 40. Now, Jeff Green pushed by the 19 Toyota Camry.
Oh, wrecking.
Oh, and we're wrecking.
Oh, crash! Don't know who that Justin Vandermeer and a couple of others.
Michael Hossackson at Garrison Hogan.
Garrison Hogan again. Caution flag is out for the 7th time here tonight.
Michael Goodman's in this replay. I don't even know if he's in this here or not, but the fact that Michael Goodman's on track is remarkable. It looks like it starts ahead of us here.
Yep, up around Michael Hossack. Check up Kynan Jones, Hossack into Garrison Hogan.
And at the same time, Kynan got into Vandermarl, who goes up the hill into
Johnny Thomas.
Johnny Thomas, okay.
See the cause of the caution. No one is going to get a tally there. But the 85 gets into the 21 as well as the 24 car. It's almost at the same time. Not hard hits though. These guys can fix it and still be just as fast.
And Michael Goodman tapping into his inner 1997 Dale Earnhardt. Right, Gable working his way through that one. Of course, Dave had to make sure the Huck's machine got that replay in.
Yeah, I had to go back and catch him. He's been running at the back most of the day, so I had to catch him in a replay.
See what the Ford. I'm surprised his camera is still working on the 44 car.
Yeah. he saw a lot of cars turning right, and he turned left. And a lot, that's not a bad strategy.
Not at all. Under caution here for the 7th time tonight.
Lots of guys coming to pit road here.
Everybody but Jeff Green and Dustin Durer and David Carpenter stay out.
Oh, hey, David Carpenter. That's the 3 do-good cars. Yeah.
Somebody sent a memo to the do-good team and said, hey, we're staying out.
Well, we had just pitted not that long ago. I get it. On this one, it gets them a chance to get hooked up and up front and see if they can make something happen. Obviously, Dustin and Jeff Green have been up front play tonight, but this gives David Carpenter a chance to mix things up. I mentioned it as we were going through the starting grid. Dave Carpenter went real-world racing this weekend. I saw a couple of pictures on the interwebs and on Discord. He took part in the, if you're familiar with the Lemons racing and that kind of thing, he was there up at Road America taking part in that.
Oh, good for him.
So, pretty exciting stuff, but he's in the virtual car tonight.
These do-good cars are... I haven't talked much about a win. In fact, I don't know when the last time they won in the Elite Cup Series. Do we have that stat on hand?
That would be... I'll dig on that. All
right, well, since we have a lap and a half, I'll let you dig and we'll go to commercial break. We'll be back for the green flag when we return.
Getting ready to go back green, starting lap 100 of 160 here in the Black Magic Designs 400 at Daytona.
The Centennial lap about to be on the board. Jeff Green leads them down. The do-good cars all are leaders here at Daytona. Chad Frankenfield, though, switches lanes and he'll go to the inside. He's trying to take the lead away. There are 3 wide O's.
Oh,
David Tilker in the middle.
And Frankenfield leading the way. We talked a little bit last week about his winless drought here in the Elite Cup Series. I'm sure the boss man doesn't love me bringing it up again.
It's been 101 races.
Hey!
good job, Alex. We were wondering if during break if you were going to remember the magic number.
Trying to end that streak here tonight.
I think Chad's always happy that we just talk about him.
We could talk about, I mean, he did win the first Elite Daytona 500 way back in 2019, so he knows, he has an idea how to get around these super speedways.
Man, they are mixing it up back there.
That's Braxton DeWeese back there. He's worked his way back up to the 8th position.
Yeah, remember at one point we were talking about him battling for that free pass, and now he's back in the top 10 in the Shifty Sports number 13 poll. Unfortunately, Nick and Delicato and Seth Rawls have been involved in a couple of events since his Shift teammates, so right now he's kind of flying solo, but I mean, we've seen these cars are pretty durable tonight, and I see Seth at the very least in the pack. I'm sure Nick is back. Yeah, Nick's in the top line as well, so they might be able to get hooked back up here eventually.
Does anyone have anything for that 15 car up front, though?
In the voice chat, Ryan Gable is trying to figure out how on earth Michael Goodman has an intact automobile, which we've been trying to figure out as well.
Sometimes Daytona is like that. That was a weird flip, too. He kind of flipped by himself.
Okay, so obviously our screen might be different than what Michael Goodman's seeing, but if I saw that correctly, we're not even seeing a deck lid.
Nope. Spoiler, yeah.
It doesn't have a hood!
He's hoodless.
Martinsville, what's going on here?
This 44
That's going to be
car
terrible for aerodynamics.
is
Apparently
just
not terrible
trying-
enough. He's right there.
Where is he running?
He is running
22nd.
22nd. I mean, obviously he's not up front, but I mean, he's on the lead lap and staying in the pack. So, just keep hanging around, see if a few more cars wreck, and who knows?
That 44. If that 44 car gets a top 10, I will be amazed.
I've done stranger things. Not at Daytona, but I've done stranger things. Oh, man. Chad Frankenfield still leading the way. Dustin Dewar, Dave Carpenter. We saw him stay out.
And we're still out of the final fuel window here. That probably won't open till lap 120. So 15 laps.
Again, just in case people are joining in mid-race, this full distance race, we see that 27 of Brandon Key on the outside lane. It's showing as a 33 on the scoring pylon, but 27 on his paint. First race of the season for Brandon, a little bit of a clerical mix-up as he was getting signed up for tonight. So the scoring pylon does not reflect the car number you see on the automobile, but that is Brandon Key, and he is battling for the lead and taking the lead here on lap 106. I don't even know if he led the lap. It was close. Jeff Green might have stuck by him.
See the 85 car, Britt Jones as well, doing a nice job.
85's Kynan Jones.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hard to keep up with the Joneses.
Oh,
Thanks for the setup, Alex. Thanks for the setup.
Jeff Green switching lanes there. All right, Zach, I just want you to tell me, when is it go time? Not yet?
For me, I mean, I'm probably the wrong guy to ask, but it's not. We're not there yet for me.
Okay.
We're not there yet. The tricky part is, like, we've seen that it's especially once we kind of get in a pack, it's hard to make up a ton of position without doing something different on pit road, right?
Yes.
So if you're 20th or something like that, you gotta start thinking, how am I gonna find some spots? How am I gonna manufacture some track position here? But if you're up front, you know, you're in that top 10, you're right where you need to be. You don't need to do anything, or, well, I say
Joshua
that.
Adams gets into the fence a little bit.
I was just about to say, you don't have to do anything too crazy if you're near the front, but there we see they were 3 wide a little bit there, and one car gets into the wall of Josh Adams. So now he's at the back of that pack, and that's kind of the risk, right? If you force the issue, and you fought all race long to get into that top 5 position, now you're 16th. How are you gonna get back in the top 5, right? Certainly Josh Adams has had a fast race car. He's got to do the best he can to get back in a good position. That's a lot of work undone with one move. Now we see, it looks like Michael Hosson kind of dropping back. It looks like that may have been by design by him. Maybe he got a little hot pushing somebody for a while there.
Brandon Q. Oh, right on the back bumper. Jeff Green almost turns him around right there.
Go 3 wide, maybe?
Oh, we're going to go 3 wide here. Somebody is bailed out completely to the apron.
He was preparing, I think that was Brent Jones.
You were seeing it all, and Jeff Green gets back in line. Chad Frankenfield takes advantage, and the point. Woo! That was a messy lap.
And now David Tooker. Chad Frankenfield dropped to the bottom, and now David Tooker with help from Tyler Fody. Oh, no!
Oh, Chad's around.
Frankenfield around, and here we go.
Oh, pilot
this
in.
is going to be the big one.
Ryan Gable's in.
At least 10 cars involved.
Braxton DeWeese involved. Or at least spun to the inside. Oh, watch out!
Oh, more contact. Chad Frankenfield, who had just taken the lead here. Let's see what happened. Does he get a shove wrong from Brandon Key? Yes, right on that right bumper, right rear. See Johnson Cutlip involved, Chris Wright. And
I don't know how
boy,
Michael
the 7 car came through
that. Yeah, him too. There were a couple of guys that came through there pretty hot and somehow got through it.
Who's the 7 car? Is that another one that's wrong?
Braxton DeWeese involved. That is the big one there.
Yeah, who is the 7 car actually? I think that's another one we don't have a correct.
Maybe Tyler Dixon? He's still out there?
That's right. Because Tyler Dixon is showing in the 27, which is obviously. Yep, there you go. So that's who that is.
Going to have one well of a view here.
I believe, if I heard that correctly, Brandon Key is being assigned the tally for that incident. Definitely a lot of chatter about where there may be some avoidable contacts. I mean, you see Josh Adams got pretty much slowed down, but then you have some of these other guys just flying in. I mean, Robert Hill. I mean, that's awful for Robert Hill, right? I mean,
he was almost clear.
He was clear. He is clear of the wreck, and somehow he just gets run over from behind by the 28, and that's the kind of thing that is really frustrating for a driver. You can get that slowed down, and then you just see this come flying in, and then he's got to get into the 71 there, and now you've done literally everything you can. The wreck is over, and now you're in it, and so is
Yeah.
Justin Vandermarl. That's pretty frustrating when you're a driver and that happens. I don't know.
But was the 28 just trying to get through the portion of the wreck? Yeah, right here.
Yeah, I mean, you can see he definitely slowed down some. It'll be up to race control to determine if he's slowed down enough. It's kind of one of those situations where, right, if race control feels he was at least on the brakes, that's really all you can ask in this situation. But it can be really frustrating when you see you were able to slow down a lot more than guys from further behind. But sometimes that just means, I mean, you have a better view of the wreck when it starts too. So it's tough. It's hard to call a guy for just not slowing down if he did indeed slow down. But at the same time, if you know there's a wreck happening that far ahead, there's a certain point where you can't gain by flying through it, right?
Yeah.
You're better off just coming to as much of close to a stop, honestly, if you can, and just pick your way through it at that point, because that you're gonna gain more positions that way than by driving yourself into the wreck. So there's a lot of different philosophies, and certainly it's one thing to make a call against it, and another thing to be mad at a guy. But that's a tough deal.
Ooh.
You see Ryan Gable piling into Chris Wright.
All right, under caution for the 8th time here. We'll be back for the restart. You're watching the Black Magic Designs 400 live on ERN. Uh, 57 laps to go. We're racing, or 47 laps to go. I can't do math. Field is dwindling though. 400 miles. Getting down to the last 100 here.
A little bit of bobbing and weaving near the back of the field. After a big wreck like this, there's got to be a lot of guys that are trying to figure out how fast is my car, how fast are the people around me, who do I just absolutely need to pass so I don't lose the pack, or is this what I, it's a lot of feeling out right now for those guys after that wreck.
David Tooker switching lanes there in front of Tyler Fody. I believe if you're gonna want to win this race, you're gonna want to keep that 40 car behind.
40 car of Tyler Fody has definitely been one of the guys to beat, and just so fast all night long. We've seen a couple of guys come and go. We've seen those new good cars up front. We saw a couple of Fody's late Norman teammates up front, but Fody's kind of been the one that, for the most part, other than that one incident, he's been kind of constant all night long. That bottom lane in the 19th, Tyler Fody, Brandon Key behind him, Jeff Green, the 4th car in line on the bottom. Up top is Dustin Dewar.
Ooh. They switched lanes, but kind of late down the back stretch there.
Behind Dustin Dewar, a couple of those Little Eagle Racing teammates, Justin Fortner and Ryan Schold in the 20. Well, I say that, Justin Fortner jumps to the bottom. Ryan Schold does follow him, so those two Little Eagle cars staying together. Now they're leading the bottom lane. Got to try and get it moving. Now, let me tell you, that took away the push on Dustin Dewar in that outside lane, so that might be an opportunity for this bottom lane.
Bottom lane, yeah, there. Especially with the 32 blinking as well. Maybe not giving a lot of, what do you call it, not admittance, but belief in that from the one car to the 32. Don't know why my dog is barking just 1 second.
That's what they do.
My sister's dog doesn't bark. It's very strange.
That would be weird.
Like, she lives in, like, my middle sister. She lives in, like, Washington, D.C. And I do mean, like, Washington, D.C. Like, 2 blocks from the Capital One Center, or Capital One Arena. I can't remember. What the arena where the Washington Capitals play. And Washington Wizards plays. They're, like, constantly fire trucks and ambulances and police cars and buses and people walking around walking their dogs. And dog never barks. Doesn't bark at anything. It's amazing. He's a good boy.
My dog typically is a good boy as well, but he always has to make his Wednesday appearance. You know this, Dave.
Oh yeah. I worry about him if I don't hear him.
Well, the dog hunting right now is Justin Fortner. Those Little Eagle cars have gotten to the front on that bottom lane, and the 26 cars leading here at Daytona.
How about Justin Fortner and Ryan Schold? 2 names we don't often talk about leading in this series. Having good days here so far. They're 3 wide, mid-pack.
That Ryan Gavel up to 4th? Gavel?
How? To quote Ryan in the voice chat right before this restarted, he has hit harder than heck, I'm paraphrasing, 4 times. And he's in the 6th spot right now and getting pushed by David Tooker.
I heard him say that whatever's after concussed, that's what he is. I don't think he has a car to be leading the lane, though.
No, he needs to get behind somebody.
A pretty heavy hit. I was wondering how Tyler Fody was able to bring that 40 car back to the lead.
Ryan's pretty much a doorstop in that top lane right now.
Yeah, sometimes when you have, especially if you have nose damage, you can get in somebody's air and stay with them and even push pretty good sometimes. But if you're up front and you have too much air damage, you can really stall out a lane. It's starting to come back a little bit, though.
Has also added his name inside the top 5. He's one of the drivers who's still looking for his first win. Was a championship 4 driver last season.
Check out that gap for the second pack. And they're pulling away from Chad a little bit.
Heinen's right on the borderline, though. Hopefully he's able to stay with this pack as we see a little bit of a dive there by Braxton, but he's able to keep it straight and duck back in line.
Oh,
whoa!
Dusty almost cleared himself.
That could have been big. That was some nice heads-up driving by the 26 car. Because he wasn't clear.
Oh, now a little bit of contact. I believe that was Jeff Green, and I'm not sure who was just in front of him. It might have been Ryan Gable, but they kept it straight. But there was just a little bit of a nudge there as they were sorting it out.
I did hear that Dustin Dewar was notified that if he does that again, he will get turned.
I don't like saying things like that, especially because with my luck, then something else will happen, and then no, I didn't mean like that. But sometimes you have to let people know, like, hey, I'm all for racing clean, I'm all for racing respectfully, but you have to stand up for yourself from time to time.
Yeah. That was a move that easily could have been a lot worse. And it would have been on the 32. How many cars are in this lead pack? 17?
16.
16 cars all in this lead pack. Each with really a chance to win it. If you're in it, you can win it.
That's the thing, right? You know, I mean, especially, you know, there's no telling what'll happen. You get down to the last lap at these super speedways. You can be running, 23rd and end up with a top 5 finish if enough cars wrecked on the last lap. So, that's the ticket right now. Is just keep. What was the poker analogy? You just need a chip in a hand. That's kind of how it is at the end of these super speedway races too.
David Ticker looking pretty good, trying to keep the boss man happy for his honeymoon there.
Did we have a blink? Yeah, we had a blink there from somebody on that bomb lane. It might have been Brandon Key. I believe it was Brandon
27.
Key.
The 2733. It's the extra numbers making blink.
Yeah, you'll have that.
He's already rebounded nicely too. Wasn't he involved in our last caution?
Yeah, but he was the bumper, not the bumpy.
Okay.
And now look at this outside lane. We've got Braxton DeWeese leading Ryan Gable. We talked about Ryan, and maybe he wasn't the best guy to be leading that train. Now he's behind Braxton DeWeese, and it looks like between him and Tyler Fody.
Ooh, is that Gerald Campbell sparking? Who is that?
Is that
Kynan Jones. I think that's Kynan Jones is sparking all the way around the track. iRacing glitch again, or actual damage?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Now I see it, yeah. That looked like actual damage. You see Nick and Delicato.
That's
going
weird.
Around him.
On my screen, it's not doing that.
He's hit the fireworks button.
Some Fast and Furious, I guess.
The afterburners.
Okay, I'll pretend I don't see it.
Boy, don't you love sim racing?
Yep. The sim's got a bit of randomness to it tonight.
32 laps to go.
32 laps to go, and Dustin Dewar has pushed David Tooker, almost 2/10 clear of Justin Fortner. And the funny thing about these super speedways, there is such a thing as having too big of a lead. I wonder if this pack's gonna get formed up here and get a run on these guys.
Braxton Deweese doing an excellent job in that outside lane, but does he have the muscle behind him to contend for the lead here?
It looks like they might be closing in on a lapped car. Is that Seth? It is Seth Rawls. I believe this will be his first lap down. It is.
They go around him. David Tooker still your leader here as we get to 30 to go this time by.
30 to go. David Tooker, Dustin Dewar still with a little bit of a cushion up front. Justin Fortner, Justin Fortner doesn't really have anybody locked onto his bumper either. Ryan Schultz, his teammate, the closest guy behind him. This pack just hasn't been able to really put together something to try and chase down these two guys that have pulled out front. They're not going to get too far away, right? But I'm kind of surprised they haven't been able to really close that gap and honestly swallow them up by now.
Braxton Deweese now pulls down behind Fortner.
Wanted to protect that position there.
That unfortunately puts Gable in the lead that pack again.
Let's remind our viewers what the color-coordinated numbers are. Partly because I forgot.
The ones with white with a black number are the ones that are locked in. Light blue with the black number are the next ones that are currently in the top 10 going into the race. And then everybody else is the field. There's loads of people that have a chance to race their way in or maybe win their way in, but they're all currently on the outside looking in. David
Tooker has a chance to lock himself in with a win. Hasn't won, I believe, since the World 600 last season.
Tooker would be already locked in.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
He's into white.
Yes. I said that, and just as I was saying that, I saw that.
So something to keep in mind too, so to make the playoffs, it's a field of 14, but to be eligible, all right, so if you win a race, you only get locked in if you're also top 25 in points and you've started 9 races. The 9 races thing really only applied to R.C. Anderson. He made his night start before he hopped in his Uber and went to the airport. We're good there. Something to keep in mind with some of these front runners, right? Dustin Dewar. He's right now to the good on the top 25, but Justin Fortner, he needs to make up some points. He went into the race 34 points behind the top 25. Ryan Schultz 11 points back. So they need to win. And obviously some of these guys have had issues. I'm not going to sit here and try to do the math for all these guys. Hopefully Chad will be able to give us an update pretty soon after the race is over. But those are guys that even if they win the race, they're going to need a little bit of help to make it into the top 25 and punch their playoff ticket should they win tonight.
I also did hear during one of the cautions, Chad was saying that the win and the top 25 thing qualifies for, I think, the 13th and 14th position, and we already have 2 that qualify for that. So if there's a third person that wins and is in the top 25, the top 2 will get 3rd and 14th, not all 3 of them.
Oh.
That makes sense?
Yes.
It does make sense.
Okay. So they would have to also finish above this.
trying to win in his very first start of the season here.
Well, it's his first start of season, but he's definitely a guy we've seen around in Elite before. He's won races. Not a surprise to see him competing at a high level, especially as Super Speedway.
Would this be the last race he's allowed to run in? He won't be allowed to run in the playoffs, will he?
I'm not going to lie to you. I'd have to dive into the rule book to remember how the playoff rules work.
I know you can't have somebody new during the playoffs.
Right.
Oh
no!
Oh,
well, that's going to make you popular.
Brandon Key into the wall hard, taking out David Tooker.
Barrel.
And around he goes. Jonathan Cutlip into the wall. My goodness, what happened? Uh-oh, was this a bump gone wrong from the 32?
It looked like either a bump or some net code.
Oh,
And head on into the wall. Tooker involved.
yeah, and that is hard hit. That's
Cutlip,
significant
Adams,
damage.
a hard hit.
Oh.
Although I don't know, Goodman flipped one earlier and he's still out there, but those hits on the corner, then you worry about breaking toe links and stuff like that.
That's pretty significant.
That one might be tough to come back from. Goodman didn't hit a wall like that when he flipped.
Yeah. That was a hard hit for both the 27 and the 19. We had just gotten into the lap counter had just ticked down, and I was gonna ask you guys, who do you like? I was looking at that 19 car. No sooner was I about to ask than this happened. Tyler Foley also getting a piece. Jonathan Cutlip and Joshua Adams.
Let's give a call there. You saw as they were trying to get by, Ryan Gable and Justin Fortner were literally bouncing off of each other, but managed to keep it straight and not get tangled up in this deal. And they're still going to have a chance to win this race. So good on those guys for being able to keep it straight after that contact and stay in the fight here.
Let's see what happened, how it looked from up above. This is the 01 car and the 26. Oh, yeah.
They're almost inside each other there for a while.
Yeah, there was definitely some net code action there, but they got through it.
And he's going to come out in second place. This will effectively end the need to make it to the green flag, or as far as the green flag pit stop, it will not be needed for the end here. Man, that sucks. I'd like to know if a tally is going on the 32 or not.
They've called it a racing incident. Okay. It would have been his second tally.
Oh.
Back and see what happened to Jonathan Cutlip.
So he's ducks onto the apron to try and get by, and just gets some contact there from Josh Adams, and into the wall he goes.
Don't know if that was a lot of damage, but certainly enough that he'll have to fix. See Kyle Handsaw also involved.
At this point, with seeing guys like Ryan Gable and Michael Goodman, I'm not even going to try to guess what's heavy
Well,
damage at this point.
As long as
I
you have
give
4
up.
tires on the track, I'll tell you.
Let her eat.
Man, that was an extremely hard hit, and one you're just not expecting too.
I think Jeff Green hit Kyle Hanshaw 5 times.
Lights are out on the pace car, so we'll be back underway here. Unfortunately, that's it looks like that one's taking a little bit of a chunk out of the field here. I think I'm seeing 20 cars on the lead lap right now.
$23 to go, guys. All right. We'll get a lap under the green, but who are you liking here toward the end? I'll give you until we run under green to
Who's going first?
answer that question. Zach, I'll give it to you.
All right. Give me Tyler Fode. I'll take the easy way out. He's been fast all night.
Okay.
Hey, look at that. Goody found his hood.
Hey! They had to bring one down from Charlotte real quick.
I like Braxton DeWeese. I'm gonna go with our YouTuber. He gets it done tonight. Green flag back in the air. 22 to go. Who do you like there, Dave?
Who'd Zach pick?
I picked the 40.
Picked the 40.
Go pick someone fun like Dustin do or Ryan.
I'm going to pick Jeff Green.
There you go.
Oh,
no!
Tyler Foley gets
No,
around.
no, there goes Jeff.
Jeff
There
Green.
went all of our picks, I think.
Caution is out for the 10th time today. Let's see what happened here. Oh, a little bit of net code there.
So Fode had made the move. Dusty comes up a little bit. There is some net code.
Orton is trying to make a space through there.
Yeah, and then so Deweese is in it. Who was that behind Deweese? Was that Delicado?
That was literally all of our picks.
That wasn't Delicado. Net code, the call from race control.
I think Robert Hill did a nice job of zipping through there. Going to be up to 5th.
Take a look, and from the 25 car. Woo! Alrighty. Well, we'll be back with the restart. You're watching Daytona on ERN.
chat if you want.
We're back. I think that might have gone out too, by the way.
I love how they all think that their opinions.
Chris, what happened?
Well, we got the. Let's talk about the positives. We
Okay.
got the bonus point at halfway.
Yep, saw that.
That was a positive. The race was fun. We ran at the front. I mean, every time we do this, I feel like we get a little better. The races get a little bit more fun. It just was frustrating there to get wrecked back at the front. But overall, we got locked into the playoffs. Had a top 5 run most of the race. It was a lot of fun out there, and I'm excited to see how this thing ends. We're running out of race cars though. Not sure what's left out here. I know Gavel's still running, and he's been in about every wreck tonight.
Yep. All right, I think we're coming back to green, aren't we? Are we in the backstretch right now?
We're on the backstretch, but
Okay.
lights are out on the pace car.
Where'd all the cars go?
How's it been for you guys? Has it been a fun race? That's all that's left right there. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's going.
Jeez. Or is this how many cars are left?
There's a group of them trying their best to catch up to the pack right now. I'm seeing 20 cars on the lead lap.
Oh,
I'm just going to throw this out there, boys. Robert Hill is still clean. He has ran his typical race, running at the back, just waiting, letting cars wreck, and lo and behold, he's sitting here, probably got the cleanest car on the racetrack.
There you go, Robert. There's the kiss of death. Came from Chris.
Yeah, wait. All of our picks were in the last wreck, so we can blame Chris for this one and
Literally.
Robert in the next one.
I called, I asked, I was like, who are we all looking for? And they were all involved.
Well, it should be a fun rest of the race. Shout out to everybody at Mountain Man. A lot of guys ran up there, worked together tonight. Worked with the Lake Norman cars a little bit. They're all gone, so hopefully it's a good show for you guys. Thanks for having me up here, and let's see a checker flag with no more yellows.
Thanks, Chris.
18 to go. Want to give thanks to Chris. Ryan Sold leads them down. Trey Holmes in that outside lane.
Braxton DeWeese is still one of the picks. He only fell back to 8th.
Robert Hill, who, as Chris mentioned, might have the cleanest car out here.
Jeff Green in 9th.
Ray Holmes is in 4th. We watched him get lapped like twice at one point.
Yeah. He restarted on that outside lane as Joshua Personette makes a move to the outside.
Here comes
Robert Hill up to 2nd.
Ryan Jones in 3rd. He turned into a sparkler.
Yeah, those sparks must have kicked it into high gear. They're not slowing them down now.
Jeff Green up to 4th. Hey, my pick's back to 4th.
My pick is in 9th. There's still time, though. We could still see a big one.
starting to get 3 wide a little further back there.
16 to go. Joshua Personette, that is a name we don't talk about leading. With all the wrecks that we've had, we could have very well a first-time winner here tonight. $15 to go this time by.
I do not see Personette or Hill's name in the top, anywhere near the top 25, so I don't think even a win's going to get them.
I think you're correct, especially knowing the situation with it only being those 2 spots. I think you're probably right that it's not they're probably needing a lot more than just a win. I don't think it's gonna punch them in, but it would be
Fun to
definitely
win.
a great way a win. Hey, a great way to wrap up the regular season for sure. Yeah, Personette hasn't started enough races for sure. I'm looking at, I believe, Hill is at 37th in points. So
Yeah, I think you have to get all the way down to maybe Michael Goodwin for somebody who maybe has a chance. He's currently at the 25th in points. But again, he probably wouldn't bump out the other 2. Vandermarl could. But he's 22nd in points right now. Like 50, 64 points though. Oh, we're wrecking back there.
Oh, yes, we do. Our 11th caution flag of the night. Who is that turned around?
Was against the outside wall. Survey says.
Man, this 32 car has been around a lot of the action.
Oh, yeah, that's not. So what happened there? No, what happened
there?
The 21 jumps up to the outside. He sees the run coming. And at this point, it doesn't matter if Dustin Dewar pulls a parachute like a top field
he's going to be pushed
Braxton
into
DeWeese, Braxton DeWeese has him full sin. Those cars aren't going to slow down in time for that lane change. That's not going to work out for anybody. Braxton DeWeese gets involved. Wyatt Canado gets involved. Nick and Delicato and Seth Rawls, the 2 shift cars, run into each other, and then the wall.
That was a hard hit for the 10 car.
Dustin Dewar going Daytona drift through the tri-oval.
Whoa. See that miss off the front of Dustin Dewar to Chad's back bumper.
Good grief. So here is... Who are we riding with here,
We're
Dave?
riding on the bumper of Chad.
Okay. Never mind. No, we're not.
Hold on. Now we go.
Okay.
We'll see a car coming from the left here.
Hello?
Oh,
2 of them.
That was so close. That's how you hope. If you're in Chad's position, that's what you want, to miss it by inches. Wow. It's a good thing, too, because had he collected, he would have been into the wall hard.
All right, let's reset the field here.
So up
12
front,
to go.
Yeah, 12 to go. Up front, it's 21 Savage Autosport 1-2, Joshua Personette and Robert Hill. Then you have Kynan Jones from Australia. You don't see the Australia flag much on the graphics here in Elite very often, but you do with Kynan. He's 3rd. Jeff Green 4th. Ryan Schold 5th. All right. Then you get Trey Holmes 6th. Michael Goodman, I guess it's fitting that he's got the Goodrich colors on there.
That front bumper is anything but straight.
He's literally flipped the car on the backstretch and kept digging. He's got his teammate, the other half of the Do Good. That's a poor man toe. if you're familiar with that, because it's two words combined to make one word. See, this is your grammar lesson for the day. Doer and Goodman. That's do good.
So now they're good. There's currently good do.
They're right now good do in 7th and 8th. Then you got Braxton DeWeese in 9th in the shifty sports car that has only been in like half the wrecks tonight instead of all the wrecks. Poor Seth Rawls and Nick Indelicato have had no luck. Wyatt Knadel in 10th. Michael Hosick and Kyle Hanchar got to be on that 6th row for the restart. The graphic, now that they're doubled up, the cameras are not going to play nicely with us, but I'm going to cooperate with you. Justin Fortner and David Carpenter are going to be the 7th row. And you got Seth Rawls. Somehow that car's still rolling, but again, you could say that about a lot of people tonight. I don't know that any of it's been Seth's fault, but here he is. Jack Frankenfield and Brent Jones hanging out in the back, just trying to get this thing to the end.
The Dustin Doer was in that last caution, right in the middle of it, and still is running 8th.
Braxton DeWeese, who may have started that, is in 9th. And Wyatt Canada, who also was involved, is in 10th.
And the 21 car that was the one got sent around is back in 19th. But still on the lead lap.
Yeah, if I'm looking at correctly, we did see Brent Jones in the lineup there, but he is, I believe, 4 laps down. If I saw that correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
So he's got to just try to tag on the tail here and get to the end. But we're getting ready to go green here. Pace car is off. Joshua Personette, Robert Hill leading them to the green.
Green flag back out. 10 laps to go here at Daytona.
Probably a little bit of strategery there from the teammates. Joshua Personette gets out front, gets down in front of his teammate, Robert Hill on the bottom.
Oh, you hold it together back there, Braxton.
What you see is basically what you get as far as who's still involved. About 19 cars on the lead lap.
3 wide back there.
Single digits next time by. 9 laps to go.
So that's Seth Rawls all the way on the outside there. I can't make out who's pushing. Is that Ryan Gable?
Ryan Gable, yep.
Yeah.
So they have to get out of it there.
Yeah, definitely got a little squirrely with the push.
This one might be in the bag for Joshua Personette, unless is your teammate really a teammate on the last lap?
Oh, we've still got more than 20 miles to go here. Nothing's in the bag yet.
You're right.
You got a little more contact to come.
I'm giving away the trophy here. 8 laps to go. Out of turn 2. Ooh, things getting squirrely in the back.
Goodman down to the inside. Dustin Doer in the middle now.
Unless I'm looking at, I don't think there's a single driver in our top 10 that's won in the Cup Series before.
Not a lot of names I remember.
Yeah, this could be a very big day.
Gable's mad at somebody. I don't know what happened. I did not see it. He is upset with somebody.
3 wide. See Chad Frankenfield trying to bust up the winless duo, and you see this is an 8-car breakaway at the front of the field. These guys, if they want a chance in the second pack, they're gonna need to get going.
Yeah, the top 8 have broken away here with 6 to go. I'm not sure without a caution, those from 9th on back has got to get back into this thing. They're losing ground still.
So is this pack of 8 going to split into 2 4s and see what happens?
At some point, somebody's got to get frisky, right? Somebody's got to jump to the top. Now, I'm trying to look and see, out of these guys we do have. If I had to take a wager, so here's the thing: you've got 2 Little Eagle cars, Ryan Scholl and Justin Horner. They're 5th and 6th. All right. If they jump out of line, you're gonna have.
We're gonna have a caution here.
We don't have a caution yet, but there is a wreck. Michael Goodman has wrecked. It has not brought out the caution. He is on the apron. Brent Jones is apologizing for it. I hate to cut away when we're still green. We'll
I'll
take
do
a
it quick.
look at it. Yeah, go quick.
peek,
Keep it real
quick peek.
time. Check up and
All right.
into the wall.
There you go.
All
Live, back, front.
We saw it. We saw it. All right, so back up front. So as I was saying, Ryan Scholl, Justin Fortner are teammates. They're gonna probably.
The energy has to come from there.
I would imagine that's where it starts. Now, when that happens, that's gonna put Trey Holmes together with his teammate. Never mind, we have a caution. Forget everything I just said.
Okay.
This will put us in green-white-checkered territory.
Oh,
It's always the kids at the back of the class that can't play well. 21 into the 32.
Jeez, that's a pretty tough hit there. Oh yeah, you can see the right front is broken. That's why Dustin Dewar was having a hard time getting the car to pit road. I feel like I'm pretty sure he gave up on that endeavor.
Looked like he doubled down, tried to come back for a second. Although,
yeah, that's a tough one to look at because
what happened there?
I'm trying to figure out exactly what the issue is there. Back it up a little bit more, please. Yeah, so
Were they arguing over release date right there? I don't think so.
He's getting a pretty good push from Hanshaw through to Trioval, but he keeps it off to 21 there. And then
I see the 21
comes down.
21 comes down, and then he's got to bounce off the wall, and then he's going to come down again. And I don't know if he's broke at this point or he doesn't care at this point, but there he right hooks the 32.
So,
like I say, I don't want
32 seems to, from our vantage point, seems to be an innocent victim here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say from that angle if there was malice there, but he doesn't really turn.
Yeah, there's no turning input.
Left. I don't know. Maybe a little bit right there at the end, but that might have even been
after contact,
going into each other at that point. I'm not sure, but Did you happen to hear a call on any of that, Dave? Oh,
yeah, it's on the screen.
21 into the 32 tally to the 21. So that's got to take us to overtime.
Green-white checker.
3 attempts at the Green-white-checkered, and of course,
Which, if I remember from last time we were here at Daytona, we used all 3 attempts.
my memory isn't that good. I'm not gonna lie to you there, but of course, for fans who maybe don't tune in regularly, whether it's to Elite or to iRacing broadcasts in general, kind of one of the differences with a late restart or an overtime restart like this is, if the white flag comes out in real life, then they say the next flag ends at either the yellow or the checkered. Well, in iRacing, the system will never throw the yellow flag once the white flag has come out. So if you see the white flag, it's a race to the line.
They could be wanted and up, all behind them. Somebody's going to emerge from that turn a winner.
Exactly.
So the 15 and the 18 are back in, or 13 are back in play now.
Yep, that erased that gap that it built between the 2 packs. We'll have to see what they're able to do with this second lease. I have to imagine it'll be interesting to see, right, with a green-white-checkered restart. Will the teammates up front work together again? Or, I mean, I'm going to be honest, like, Robert Hill's going to say, I'm going to try to let you in here. If I'm Kynan Jones, I'm going to be doing everything I can to push the daylight out of Robert Hill and not give him I'm going to force him to screw over his teammate. I'm not giving him the luxury. I am pushing him forward. And whatever happens, happens. We got to go. It's 2 laps to go.
Chad's pointing out that he's the only person left on the track who's ever won a race. I don't know if that's like talking trash to everybody else or... Gavel, I guess. Gavel.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Our pylon man only has to scroll to the second page before we see how many people are out. It has been a race of attrition here tonight. But we're finally down to the final 2 laps.
Yeah, I think I could put our top tower in just top 20 now. I don't have to make the split keep going in and out.
Alrighty, will the field be able to make it back to the white flag, or will we see a yellow to slow us down once more? Green flag is back out. Joshua person that leads him down. Trey Holmes right behind him.
And see, there you see Trey Holmes pushing person that way out front. Those 2 teammates did not get hooked up there. Trey Holmes was not about to let that happen.
See a little bit of blinking from the 85 car.
Oh, checked up. That shoots Kynan Jones out. He's going back into the 15.
Take out Chad Frankenfield. Caution. Not what the 88 car wanted to see. Oh, man. This Jones car, he was way out of shape. You have to wonder when you're...
got a pretty good shot from
the
Ryan
4.
Schold there. Yeah.
Do you put the brakes on when you know you're that far out of shape, or are you just...
I mean, you can see the wheel turned. I mean, you can see from here. You don't even have to see the steering wheel. You can see the wheels are turned to the left. The brakes are locking up. I don't know. I mean, maybe...
That last little bit to the right is, I think, what'll be questioned.
Yeah, I don't...
I think that was the car naturally going that way.
Yeah, I don't think he turned it left. I mean, you can see there. We can back it up and watch his hands, but I mean, here the wheel's still cocked to the left. So it's left.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I
Yeah,
don't. I
he's
think he did
still-
everything he could.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate. That will take Chad out. He was looking like he was gonna come home with a top 10.
Give that to the 4?
For the contact to the 85,
Okay.
yes. Because that starts here.
Yeah.
That's what pushes him out.
So he didn't make it to the white flag. That means we will have our second attempt.
Second attempt out of 3 allowed per the rulebook.
See if the 18 and the 2 can be communicated a little bit better this time.
Well,
Now
in
they can
this
line up behind him.
Yeah.
So the thing to consider there, and actually I think Scott Crump just mentioned it in the chat, is so Braxton DeWeese was 1 point behind Chad Frankenfield coming into the night, and that was for 12th. Again, lots of moving parts tonight, lots of guys bouncing in and out. I know Gerald Campbell had issues. He was ahead of both of them. But obviously, as far as that battle goes, right now Braxton has made up some ground on Chad, and that could be huge when we try to figure out who is in this playoff field at the end of the night.
Yeah, Chad's going to finish, 16th probably?
Well, I won't say that. Well, we'll see. If he's staying on the lead lap, there's no telling. We've still got 2 more chances to tear up cars. But right now, he's probably a little frustrated that he lost some points on that deal.
He'll be doing some math. Hopefully he can do the math quickly so we can find out.
Let's see. I'm trying to figure out. Gerald finished 32nd, so he definitely lost some ground on both of those guys in that bubble battle.
Pace lights are off.
Attempt number 2.
Attempt number 2. Going down the
Attempt
backstretch
number
here.
2. I just felt like I had to say that.
How are we doing on our picks? Let's see. I'm in 4th, right? 4th or 5th. Jeff Green's still up there.
Yeah.
Braxton DeWeese, was he picked?
I picked him, yeah. And who did you pick there, Zach?
I'm 23 laps down and 23rd. I picked Fogey. We're on the way back to the we're taking the access road back to the airport behind the backstretch right now.
He might have showered and had a hot dog by now.
The top 10 have never won here an elite race, so this will be an interesting what do you call it? Post-race interviews.
We're going to have to send somebody down to show them how to find their way to the booth.
Yeah, All right, pace cars off. Our second attempt at green-white-checkered. Joshua Personette and Robert Hill lead the field back down to green. Trey Holmes did not fire off in that outside lane well. Jeff Green.
I think he's going to pop to the high side here soon.
And if they make it across the stripe, we will have an official race. See Jeff Green trying to create.
He hates to see right now is really now Trey Holmes is starting to get into the picture, but right now his only help is the 26. If he's got to make a move, he needs a little more help.
White flag in the wind. 1 lap to go here in the Black Magic Designed 400.
Does Robert stay with his teammate?
Joshua Personette trying to win his very first race ever.
If Jeff makes the move, does Robert throw to block at this point? I think he has to. I mean, nobody's behind Jeff on the screen right now.
Yeah.
They're pulling a little gap on him.
Hurt the momentum of the 38 car. Joshua
Here he comes with the run.
Oh, can he hang on? Robert Hill to his outside. They wrecked
Robert's
behind
going to get a
him.
win.
Robert Hill wins.
All right, Robert.
Magic Designs 400. Wow. We love to see it. How about that? His roasted Jim's coffee, that's
his first win, right?
And his very first win, yes.
Fresh off of Canadian Thanksgiving.
I love Daytona for that reason. Anybody can win if the gods are smiling down at you. And today, they smiled down at our Robert Hill, who's been with us in the booth before. You think he knows how to do a burnout?
Oh, I'm sure.
His teammate there, Josh Personette, got to join him on the front stretch here.
I think that was a good team victory. I think he came home with the third place finish.
He did a good job. He stayed with him as a teammate for as long as you possibly could ever want him to stay.
Yeah. Jeff Green forced him to go to the outside, and he did.
Nedd is frantically working on the points.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get an update here before you go off the air. Certainly, Robert Hill winning isn't going to get him in, but obviously, awesome moment for him to get his
He
first
could care
career
less
win.
at this point.
He's not worried about that.
Yeah.
He's taking the Polish victory lap right now. He's the happiest guy here, I guarantee, especially while these other guys are waiting on the math to come in the official point tally.
Yeah. All right, let's start our post-race interview. Let's go with JP, I believe. Joshua Personette, man, it's Alex up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Man, you were within one turn of being able to claim your first win. You still had a great team victory walking through your night at Daytona.
Up and down night. I mean, qualified third, which I think is probably my best qualifying effort. And then middle of the race, got towards the back of the packs, got off the lead pack. I was worried there for a little bit because I wasn't sure if we were going to get lapped or not before the caution came out. And then got lucky, avoided a bunch of wrecks. And then yeah, last 20 laps, put myself in a position where I thought I could win the race. And it came down to me and Robert working well together until the last corner. And, at that point, it's every man for himself.
Yeah. Well, what did you need more of on that very last lap, do you think?
What I needed was Robert to push me. That was going to be the only thing keeping me from winning that, which he made the same move I would have. But I can't take anything away from him. He ran a great race, too.
All right, well, as a runner-up in tonight's race, or a third-place finish, a podium finisher, want to give you the chance to shout out anyone and anything you'd like on your best finish this season.
Oh, I just want to thank you guys for doing all that you do for Elite in the league. I want to thank Chad Frankenfield for giving us a place to race. I want to thank Race Control. I want to thank my teammates, Justin Vandermeer, Jordan Owens, Josh Adams, Robert Hill, the winner. It's a real awesome place to be with them, and that's all I got.
All right, well, congratulations, man. Go and celebrate. We won't keep you.
Thank you so much.
Joshua Personette brings it home in third place. Let's see if we can get. Do we have Jeff Green?
I do not see him in there.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, is he Jay? Is he just Jay?
JL Green.
Green. Yeah.
I don't see that one. Is that the one I see in the waiting room? I see a J. Is that the person I should bring?
Yeah, we'll Hey, Jeff Green, it's Alex up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do, Alex. How you, buddy?
Pretty good, man. You pushed Robert Hill to his first win. What was it getting up through the field here tonight and getting your best finish of the season?
Thanks. It was I don't know. I had a couple accidents in the wrong places, at the right time, and I was able to get most of it fixed, the damage, and car was still pretty. I didn't feel like I could lead. I wanted to be second or third in the line, and on the green, white, and checkered. I thought that what was going to happen is what did happen. Robert jumped the outside of him, and I was going to try to jump the outside of Robert a little earlier than I did, and I wasn't able to get back all the way up to even with him, but I was able to get second. That was a great run for us. I don't know. It's not been a bad year, but it seemed like I don't see a lot of checker flags for some reason. So, but it was good to run all night, and it was a good race, I thought.
Yeah, that was my second question. What did you think of the racing tonight?
It was pretty good. The cars I don't know, the damage on them, it doesn't seem to hurt them. So, unless you really get tore up real bad, where you have to quit. But it seemed like guys were fixing damage and coming back out. At the beginning of the race, the outside line was the best, and the middle, and the end of the race, the bottom was the best. So I had to figure that out, try to keep on top of that, and put myself in the right position. So good night for us. Glad to do it. Glad to be here in the top three, and just pretty excited about it. I enjoyed it.
All right, well, want to give you the chance as tonight's runner-up to shout out anyone and anything you'd like.
Just appreciate Goody for what he does. He does all the paint for me, and I'm on their team, so it's pretty. I learn a lot each and every night that I'm with those guys. Get them to shut up and drive the race car. All of us would be better off. But JPS is on my car. Just shout out to them. Appreciate their support. Thank y'all's support too. Appreciate y'all doing this.
All right, that was Jeff Green, runner-up in today's Black Magic Design 400. Congratulations there, Green.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, well,
Robert, let me hold the door open for you, man. Come on in.
Robert Hill Jr., man, you're a winner in the Elite Racing Series. How does that feel?
I don't know. It feels pretty damn good, though. I I gotta first off thank Josh Personette. That guy is one hell of a teammate. Worked with me. I told him towards the end. I said, "It's gonna be me or you. That's it. If I had to stay on his bumper, I was going to, but had the chance off of 4, went up. Jeff got on my bumper, and well, here we are."
Yeah, I was going to ask what was going through your mind when you took the checkered flag and right before when you made that move.
Yeah, it was kind of planned the whole time that off of 4, whoever was behind was going to try to make a move. We were going to go for it. We're not those teammates that'll just stay nose to tail if we have an opportunity to go for the win. And, I just knew it was kind of the opportunity. Chris Wright was screaming in my ear, as he normally does, telling me, go, go. So I went just so Chris stopped yelling, and it just paid off. And 53 start, not terrible for a field filler like me, but first top 20 of the season is that first step on the podium. So I'll definitely take it.
All right, well, want to give you the microphone to shout out anyone and anything you like as tonight's winner.
Got to thank my teammates at 21 Savage and Justin Vandermarl. We tried to get him the win tonight to lock him into the playoffs. It just wasn't meant to be, apparently, for him. And Josh Adams, Jordan Owens, Josh Personette. So happy for him to be on the podium as well. He's had a rough season just like I have, so to be up there definitely means a lot for guys like us. And of course, have to thank my sponsors, Roasted Gems Coffee. If you head over to Roasted Gems Coffee on their website, use coupon code Mountain. You could save 10% on your order. We're going to be up partying all night, so you might need that coffee in the morning. And got to thank Dave Huckleberry. We got Hucks on board the side of this machine. Always great when we could put him in victory lane. And of course, Justin Vandermerl again of JV Designs, designing my paint scheme. We're running the pink accents this month for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and really, really proud to have that on board and happy to get this win.
All right, man. Well, congratulations. It was so cool to see a 2-car back in victory lane.
I appreciate it, guys.
See that.
Appreciate it so much. Thank you.
All right. Congratulations, Robert Hill Jr., Canadian winner of tonight's race at Daytona. Well, I think that does it, guys.
I think Zach has some important information to give us.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Go ahead there, Zach.
I mean, this was the last race of the regular season, so the Sim Racer Hub page has been updated with the point standings. From our understanding, Dave was speaking with Chad and trying to make sure we got the accurate information on the broadcast before we went off the air. And it looks like, from what we're seeing, the top 12 in points, plus R.C. Enerson and Nick Indelicato as winners who finished in the top 25 in points, will be the playoff field. Those top 12, Matthew Weeks, by 2 points ahead of Scott Crump, just did squeak out the regular season title, so to speak. Ethan Burrell 3rd, Tyler Fody 4th, Jonathan Cutlip 5th, Ethan Stanley 6th, Garrison Hogan 7th, David Tooker 8th, Ryan Gable 9th, Chris Wright 10th, Braxton DeWeese 11th, 1 point ahead of Chad Frankenfield in 12th. He was 8 points ahead of Gerald Campbell, first guy out. At least according to what I'm seeing on Sim Racer Hub right now.
We'll have to await the official scoring, but glad we were able to bring that to you before the end of tonight. All right, the playoffs begin next week at, I believe, is it Vegas? It will be a half the race distance. It won't be a full race, so
Las Vegas.
We'll be back at our regular time at 8:30, and want to say congratulations once again to Robert Hill, and from all of us from ERN, so long. We will see you guys next week.